When was it that Addie took a nap? Yesterday? No. Maybe it's me. Well, at least I was there for the birthday party.
Got about a half a minute to go to officially start, so please be patient with it. Unless you could turn up time and make it click faster, go after it.
I have this at 1 o'clock, Mayor Pro Tem.
Okay, there we go.
Go.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to the regular council meeting of the Village of Ruidoso, November 14th, 2023 at 1 o'clock. At this time, I'll call the meeting to order, and please stand with me for a moment of silence and an invocation given by Councilor Jackson, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance and the salute to the State of New Mexico flag.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day, for this village, those who live here and those who live about, especially those in the county and surrounding areas. We pray that you guide us this day with overseeing the way we speak, the way we think, and the way we hear. Let it be mindful that the words of our mouth and the meditations of our thought be with you always, as it was in the beginning and is now and ever shall be. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Ghost. Amen.
Amen. Pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I salute the flag of the state of New Mexico, the Zia symbol of perfect friendship among united cultures. Thank you. Roll call, Madam Clerk, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Salas,
Here.
Councilor Eby,
Here.
Councilor Letterman,
Here.
Councilor Hooker,
Here.
Councilor Coughlin,
Here.
and Councilor Jackson.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem, you have a quorum.
Thank you. And the mayor's doing a welcoming at the convention center right now. That's why I'm filling in these first few minutes of the meeting, so he'll be here shortly. The New Mexico emergency managers are all meeting there, so he'll be here shortly. Could I have a motion for the approval of the agenda?
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, I move approval of the agenda as presented and allow the chair to move items for discussion at will.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Councilor Jackson,
Aye.
Councilor Hooker,
Aye.
Councilor Eby,
Aye.
Councilor Letterman,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Salas,
Aye.
Councilor Coughlin.
Aye.
Next item is the consent regular items. We'll begin with item number 1, approval of governing body minutes for October 10th, 2023 regular meeting, October 30th, 2023 special meeting, and November 7th, 2023 our workshop minutes. Number 2, approval of certification of records destruction, number 2023-005. Item 3, approval of resolution 2023-35, supporting the ADA transition plan, ADA policy statement, and Title VI plan. Item 4, approval of T-Hangar agreement between the Village of Ruidoso, Sierra Blanca Regional Airport, and Jason Heller for Charlie 1 T-Hangar beginning November 14th, 2023. Number 5, approval of request to schedule a public hearing on December 12th for adoption of the Metropolitan Redevelopment Area Plan. I'll entertain a motion.
I move that we accept the consent regular items as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Councilor Letterman,
Aye.
Councilor Eby,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Salas,
Aye.
Councilor Hooker,
Aye.
Councilor Coughlin,
Aye.
Councilor Jackson.
Aye.
I guess that's one advantage of the mayor pro tem, because he does get to vote, and he doesn't have to wait till a split vote. So that's one part of it. Okay. I was gonna let the mayor do all that when he gets here. Yeah, so, I'm gonna hold off on the public hearing and move to the manager's report.
All right, thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Salas, members of the council. First on the manager's report, I have our Parks and Rec Director, Matt Baird, will give an update.
Good morning, Mayor Pro Tem, or good afternoon, Mayor Pro Tem and Council. It's nice to be with you all today.
Matt.
So I'm going to be speaking today a little bit on some of the activities we have coming up, some of the fall and winter fun we have, and then decorations. So I'm going to start out with our activities. The ice rink does open Black Friday, so November 24th. It'll be open 12 to 8 that day. And then its regular hours are 5 to 8 on weekdays, 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. on weekdays, and then 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. on weekends. And so we will be closed on Christmas Day, and we'll be closing at 5 o'clock on Christmas Eve, just to give our staff time with their families. But other than that, we're open every day. The fees for that, as we've talked about last week, or last few weeks ago, are $20 per day for visitors. There's $20 for Ruidoso resident season passes and $30 for Lincoln County and Mescalero season passes. And so those are going to be the season passes. Those include skates and everything. The next thing we have would be the next day, November 25th at 10 a.m. We have the Turkey Trot. So it's the 5K around the links. It's a really fun event. This one we do not charge for. This is a free event. However, we encourage people to bring non-perishable food items for their entry. And those food items go to the Lincoln County Food Bank. And so it's a little our way of giving back to the food bank a little bit. And I know that their demand's really high this time of year. And so it kind of gives back to them some.
Where do they meet, or the starting line is at?
It will be at the Country Club, I believe it, or the Country Club, it's right here at the Links. I believe it's going to be right up here on White Mountain is the start area.
Okay,
Kind of right there by the dog park.
Yeah, right by the dog park.
okay, so by the dog park,
Yes.
okay.
Then followed up by Christmas in the Park, which would be the following Thursday, November 30th. It is weird because this year it's in November, but it's always the first Thursday after Thanksgiving, and it just happens to fall this year. It's November 30th, so that's going to be 6 to 8 p.m. We'll have the tree lighting by the mayor at 6:15. And then Santa will be there for pictures, for free pictures. We'll have free ice skating that day. Sleigh rides, so they can do the sleigh rides. Cornerstone is providing coffee and cookies. And then Parks and Rec is actually providing hot chocolate this year, but Cornerstone's going to help us distribute it. And so we'll have hot cocoa, coffee, and cookies. And then we'll have carolers there. Instead of bands, we'll have a couple carolers. I'm still looking to fill some slots, so if y'all know carolers, we have right now the high school and then Capitan High School. Ruidoso High School and Capitan High School. Their carolers are going to be for us, but if y'all know of any churches or anything, please get with me, and we'd love to add some more carolers to that event. That followed up is it's actually a Chamber of Commerce event, but it's still something we are heavily involved with is the Christmas parade and after party, the Christmas light parade and after party. That's going to be on December 2nd, Saturday, December 2nd at 6 p.m. The parade theme this year is Songs of Christmas. And so hopefully we see a hippopotamus out there. My fingers are crossed. But Songs of Christmas this year, like I said, parade starts at 6 p.m. at Meacham and Suttereth and ends at Pizza Hut, the normal parade route down Suttereth. The after party will follow at Wingfield Park. There'll be a second opportunity for Santa, pictures with Santa at that time. And then the chamber does their festivities, and we'll have free ice skating that day as well. And so Christmas in the Park and the after party will both have free ice skating those 2 days.
Matt, let me ask you, the parade route, where does it start, where does it end, and is it going east to west or,
So it starts at
West to
Meacham, it
east.
starts at Meacham and Suttereth and goes down to Pizza Hut. And
Okay.
so it goes west to east, downhill.
I remember one year.
They tried one year uphill.
I was imagining it.
Oh, it did.
Well, they,
went up.
and then there's been discussion of it because if it came that way, it could end at Wingfield where the event is.
Yeah, the
You're
traffic
right.
pattern makes better sense going up the other direction, but walking uphill does not make sense, or trying to move those floats uphill does not make sense, for that long of a period, so it's a lot easier to walk downhill, for those walking in the parade.
Much easier.
Yeah, and so that's why we do it that direction, is to go downhill.
Okay.
You know, somebody me being from the flatlands, I didn't even think about that. And last Christmas, I thought the idea, well, if we just turn it around, then they can just circle around right into Wingfield. And yeah, I thought I was gonna lose my head that day.
Yeah, and then you're really tired, and then you hit Center Street, and you
Yeah.
still have another uphill.
Exactly. So it's a great, it's that traditional, that traditional parade route. And it's a great parade. I always love watching the light parade. Then on December 9th, we'll have the drone show and drive-in movie. And so the drive-in movie is Arthur's Christmas. It's a fun animated movie. And that will start at 6 PM, and then the drone show will be at 8:15. We actually just sent in the finalized slide deck for the drone show today, and I'm pretty excited about it this year. It's gonna be really fun. They've implemented some stuff that's, special to Ruidoso, and so,
Oh, that's great.
yeah, so we're really excited about that.
And we got the traffic control all in place, so.
We will, yes, sir. It actually worked very well last year. And same thing with the July 4th. We'll work with PD and, they just basically man that out and just get people flooded out. There will be one change this year from where the drones launch. They have launched right there at Hole, the swamp area right there at Hole. With the construction, and also, we've had some instances of horses and elk almost stepping on drones the last couple of years. So we're actually gonna move the drones over to the baseball field. We'll put them in the outfield of the baseball field and launch them from there, because then they're in a fenced-in area. And so they'll be on that end of the property, the west end of the property versus the east end of the property.
And when is that, Matt?
That one is December 9th. At 6 PM is the movie, and 8:15 is the drone show.
And do you have a stage set up that night?
Oh, no, we did not set up a stage.
Maybe that's 4th of July I'm getting.
4th of July, we do that. Yeah, no, we'll probably bring a flatbed trailer out and put the screen on a flatbed trailer just so it's elevated some, because the drive-in, but other than that, we don't have any infrastructure out there. I actually was, when I went to conference this year, I got to meet all the people with the drone company we use. They were at the conference, and so I got to meet them, and they said they really loved coming up here. This is one of their favorite places to actually come launch drones, so, other than it being cold. But we take care of them. We do put a tent up with a heater and stuff to take care of them for that. Then Christmas light deck and decorations. This year you'll see more decorations. Lodgers Tax has offered up some more money this year, and so we are adding a lot of decorations. So the Y is pretty much done at this point. Schoolhouse Park is, I would say 90% done. We'll probably put a few little things in it, but the majority of it's done. Right now, we're working on Wingfield Park. A large portion of it's done. We'll finish it up. Obviously, that's the one we have a big deadline against. And Midtown. Midtown will be next week. We'll start on it. Should take us about a day and a half to do Midtown. We did start on the ice rink today. Those guys have been busting butt out there. We started about 8 o'clock this morning on the ice rink, and it's probably about 75% done. Building. We still have to freeze it and all that stuff, but assembling it. And so,
Are they busting their butt because they're slipping on the ice?
no, we don't have ice out yet.
Okay, I
You'll
was
also
gonna
see
say,
you'll also see
Train them to skate or something.
yeah, we're trying. You'll also see a ditch ran across Wingfield Park right now. It'll be filled up probably, if not today, tomorrow. We dug it this morning. Where the drainage that comes off the north side of the pavilion.
Right.
We're going ahead and putting it underground. We're putting a drainage pipe in underground to run it out to the ditch.
So you guttered it?
It's already been guttered.
Okay.
And it just ran out onto the ground right there. But we're gonna move it on out to the ditch so it doesn't freeze up that ground right there. We had big issues last year with,
Yeah.
on that north side, doesn't get much, sun. And so, it freezes and then doesn't thaw and soak in. And so we're gonna alleviate that by pulling the water out of there and sending it onto the ditch where it'll get a little sun and be able to soak in.
Okay.
And soon we'll be adding decorations to Country Club property, and then the Circle, the Upper Circle, Stinson property, whatever ones we called this week, but we'll be doing those decorations soon as well. You'll also see a lot more decorations in the village buildings. Me and Melissa got to go down and purchase a lot of decorations. We're adding there'll be Christmas trees and decorations in all the fire departments, the police department. Village Hall here will have decorations. And then we've already had a couple other departments that want to add Christmas trees and decorations. And so we'll be going and making another run with those lodgers tax dollars and adding some more Christmas spirit. There's also some more decorations you'll see around Village Hall and possibly some other village facilities. I know the airport just bought a brand new big tree, and so we're excited to kind of spread the Christmas joy around town and not just Suttereth and, Suttereth and Wingfield were kind of the hot spots before, but we're spreading it around.
What about Cream Meadows Drive Park?
We'll probably add some up there.
Yeah,
Yeah, we'll add some along that we're at, in the little triangle area right
Right.
there. We have to be really careful because it has to be short.
right.
But we can find some stuff to put in that area, that's for sure. And I'll stand for any questions.
So Matt, you also have a Christmas lighting contest.
Yes, sorry, his. No, there's so much. Yes, so P&M every year donates money to us to do Christmas lighting contest for the best lit Christmas houses. So we'll start that process soon to get all that advertised and get that contest going. And
So the question I always get, how long are the lights gonna stay up? Because everybody invites everybody to come and see them, and this time I want to at least have an estimate date when we while at Wingfield, because everybody talks highly about that.
so Wingfield will definitely be up through Martin Luther King weekend,
Okay,
because that's when the ice rink is open through. So I want to keep it decorated through then.
Through that whole
We'll
time.
probably start, those first 2 weeks of January, we'll start taking down some of the decorations of like Country Club or
Right,
the
right.
Y, and start kind of disassembling in that order, and then wait till Martin Luther King weekend to take down Wingfield.
We typically leave the lights in Midtown up longer than.
Yes,
everything
they'll be
else.
through February.
Okay.
The pole lights will be.
Okay.
And another highlight, you'll also see at Country Club, we're doing there's some really large decorations there. One of them is a large picture frame that I believe actually says family. It's a big picture frame, says family on it, where it's a photo opportunity. People can come take a picture there.
Good.
And so
good.
we're excited for that. I'll stand for any more questions.
Well, Mayor, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Matt.
Very good report. I got
Matt.
done with the consent items, and then we jumped over to the manager's report, which started with Parks and Rec.
Parks and Rec, and you hadn't ran Coughlin off yet?
No,
No, we
he's still-
haven't, but we still,
I'm ready to go though.
Hall, as soon as we get to the cake, we'll get him out of here. He's ready to go anyway. I apologize for my tardiness, everyone.
We had a great meeting, don't worry about it.
Yeah, no, I'll shut up and let you continue.
Mayor Crawford, members of the council, I'm going to have Adam Sanchez, he's our Public Works Director, and he's going to update us on the Sudreth striping project and also on the Pine Cliff Waterline project.
Mayor, Council, so as you've seen, Upper Sudreth is striped. I'm hoping this week they'll come do the second coat. It is down to two-lane road now with a turning lane and parking on either side. We did do the hashes in front of some of the businesses. It makes it easier for them to actually have a place to back out instead of backing out into traffic. So we're still waiting on 2 no parking signs to be placed. And then we will have to paint the curb on the north side of Upper Sudreth, white instead of orange or yellow, I'm sorry.
With the sparklies in it.
With the sparklies in it and reflected, just so people can park there.
Okay.
So, and then as far as Pine Cliff, I've talked to our engineers from Sauter Miller, Marty Howell, and we are actually going to do a change order to that project. and add a Highway 70 onto this project to get rid of that water line and replace it.
So we can get rid of that old concrete or,
It'll be from the middle of Pine Cliff Village to K-Bob's. And I think I counted 10 services on that line.
okay? Well, just to make sure that we get all the door hangers out, make contact with all the business owners and families. And thank you again to your staff. They worked unbelievable this last weekend and
Thank you very much.
as usual. So, but thank you for that.
Appreciate it. I'll stand for any questions.
Thank you, Adam. All right, Mayor and Council, I'll stand for any questions if anyone has on the manager's report.
Is anybody else having problems with a number of the pictures not loading in the manager's report? Once you get down to like,
Mine didn't load.
yeah. So I don't know what's changed, but once you get down to starting like page 27, it says the picture cannot be displayed, little tiny, you know, the fine print. So,
Do we know who to talk to on that, Jenny? Vaughn?
Yes, we'll call that.
Okay.
Yep, there's nothing there.
yeah, okay, good. I'm not the only one.
Okay, if there's nothing else on the manager's report, did y'all make a motion to skip around? Obviously.
Yeah, we did.
So we have VIP in the room, and so I wanted to get to that because I know he's got plenty of other stuff to do. But we wanted to recognize, we heard a story about a young man, and everybody hears so many different things throughout the community, across the country or whatever, about how the youth of today, we don't know. I know my experience with youth has been getting better and better the last few years. A lot of people that are, I think that are going to be great additions to the future. And we have one right here in town that came into a situation, saw the situation, and put himself in a situation to help someone else out in a case of bullying. Now, I wasn't there. I just have heard a lot about it. But we wanted to recognize Aaron Anderson. So can you come on up here? And then we've got some other folks here. So, Mrs. Ferguson.
Yes, sir.
Could you come up, and Mrs. Hooker? And then is this your granddad? Great-grandfather, would you come on up? Oh, I got the wrong one. Yes, sir. Okay. All right. So on behalf of the Village of Ruidoso, we got the information from the school over here. And so I'm just going to read the plaque that we've got for you, and I hope that you cherish this and enjoy it, because it's not often that we recognize people for doing things good. It seems like that only the people that don't follow the rules, that aren't helpful, get recognized. But you have done a great thing, and we commend you for it. So the RMS Student of the Week for October the 5th, 2023 is Aaron Anderson, 8th grade student at Ruidoso Middle School. Aaron was recognized by Coach Speck, which he couldn't be here today, for his willingness to stand up for another student when they were being bullied and assaulted on the school bus. Aaron did not defend the victim in such a way that it caused harm to anyone or himself. He was truly someone's hero on the bus that day by helping others. You are awesome, Aaron. Ruidoso Middle School and the school district are very proud of you. Thank you and good job. And we're presenting it to you this day, November the 14th. So we appreciate what you did, and hopefully you'll be a lesson for others. So I want to shake your hand. Thank you very much, Aaron.
Thank you.
This is yours. And then we have a bag of some swag. And we heard you're a little bigger guy than me, so we got you a nice hat from the fire department's new logo. We got you a new vest that says Ruidoso on it. And so we hope that you wear it proudly.
Just not school.
Yeah, just not school. There's a lot of rules about school that I did not know. And then we've got you a nice T-shirt, and then this is just a metal pin that you can put on with a magnet. So we appreciate that. We've also got another little prize for you in there. So anyway, would you like to say anything, Ms. Ferguson?
Well, I am very proud to say that I have known Aaron and his
grandfather and his brother for several years. I was Aaron's principal, and then Ms. Hooker has had that opportunity. And to say how proud I am of Aaron, it's just one of those times that what you did really did save another student, and that is no lie. So it was not a good situation, and what you did was a hero, being a hero, and that's what it means, taking up for somebody else who couldn't take up for themselves in such a way. It was awesome. We are so proud of Aaron.
Yes.
Yes.
Way to go, Aaron.
You want to say something?
Well, I just want to say that I'm very proud of him. We've come a long ways, haven't we? And his grandmother's looking down on him today, smiling on you.
Yes.
She's very proud of you.
Amen. Well, thank you. Ms. Hooker, this is your shot.
Aaron, I just wanted to say thank you. I have just seen you grow and blossom over the last few years. And for a kiddo your age to make the decision to be helpful in such a way that you didn't get hurt and no one else did either, that is just wonderful. And I see big, big things in your future. So thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Well, thank you, Aaron. Do you want to say anything?
I'm here. Chief would like to say something.
All I have to say is thank you guys.
Well, thank you. Who?
The chief.
The chief.
Oh, here comes the chief. Chief Chavez.
Sure.
Aaron, on behalf of the police department and the village, we're very proud of you, and I hope that this fosters more kiddos your age to do the right thing. We're very proud of you for doing the right thing.
Councilor Lutton, you want to shake your hand?
Thank you very much.
All right, my friend. Thank you very much. Thanks for coming in today.
Thank you.
Thanks for facilitating all
Yes,
this.
thank
and
you very much.
Thank you, Granddad. Doing a great job. Thank you
All
very
right.
much.
Go back to school.
Good to see you.
Good.
Back in class.
No, I'm leaving in 2 weeks. You are leaving? Florida. Retiring, yeah. Oh, finally. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Bye-bye.
Well, that was awesome that we get to recognize a young person with all the things that we hear about. It's really awesome, so we appreciate it. Marcy, you're done?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I expected more today. She's all. Okay, we'll go ahead and move back to public input. And I just want to make sure that somebody didn't get on the wrong list. We have a sign-in sheet that everybody seemed to sign, but nobody today signed on the public input. Nobody wants to talk? Okay. Fair enough. All right, we'll move on to mayoral reports, which will be new employees and promotions. And this is always really good. Today, it's really hard to get good quality employees. It really is. And we're really appreciative of the ones that we are getting. We've got some that have gone through training programs within the village, other things that are offered that are now in promotion. So this is what we look for, is a better work environment for our employees, better environment for their families. And so new employees, Javier Arellano, tell me how to say it. Arellano. Okay, I was looking for another I or another E, but I appreciate it. He's in the street heavy equipment operator, and he was hired October 10th. So congratulations.
Yes.
Thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
Where are you from? Where are you from?
Yes, I'm from Las Cruces.
Las Cruces. Good. And you were able to find a house?
Not yet, but
We're working on? Okay, well, we're working on housing too. So we've got some options that we're working on, but we're tickled to have you. Thank you. Hopefully you have a long tenure here. Then we, Aureliano. Okay. Emilio Salcido, Code Enforcement Officer. Welcome here. Glad to have you. So it's a tough department, as we know, and we're going to see some stuff a little bit later here on code enforcement, but we appreciate your dedication. Hopefully you find it a good home here in Ruidoso. Where'd you come from? El Paso. Good. We're glad to have you. Have you found a house? See, we got to keep working harder on this workforce housing.
Well, soon.
Soon. Oh, yeah, you'll have one available.
We'll have one available.
Sublet all of your stuff.
No.
We appreciate you. Would you like to say anything? You bet. This is your council, and we're always easily contacted and whatnot. But I know you got a great department working with Bobby. So thank you very much for what you do.
Thank you.
Alexander Kaz Kiergan. Did I say that right?
No.
Okay. Everybody knows the mayor's got a real thick tongue, so.
I like the way you said it.
No, so. Kaji?
Kaji.
Kaji. Kaji Kurgan, okay. Street maintenance worker, man, are we glad to have you.
Yes.
That's a big department, and you guys have been very busy. He was hired 10/23. So are you local?
Yes, sir, from Escalero.
From Escalero, great.
I went to Reynosa all the way up to my 8th grade year and got transferred to the graduation school.
Okay. Well, hopefully you love it here. You always want to be here. There's a lot of room in the future for guys your age, so we're glad to have you.
Yes, very much.
Thank you for being here. Mario Ramirez, street maintenance worker, 10/30/23. Welcome. And I know that your department, Josh, I didn't see Josh in here. There he is. That's why you're driving the truck today instead of a lay-down machine or a dump truck, because you got some help now. Oh, earlier, okay. What? Yeah. Well, now you got some help. That's great. So we're glad to have you, Mario. Are you local? Carlsbad.
Nice.
Okay, we're gaining some folks. That's great. Now quit asking about housing. It's embarrassing at this point. Yeah, you're in the same boat. We're working hard on it. We really are. So we appreciate it. Hopefully you enjoy your work here at the village.
Way to go.
Thank you. Stephen Della Rosa, Parks Maintenance Worker.
Yes.
Hello, 11/6 is when you were hired.
Yes, sir.
Glad to have you.
Thank you.
Seen you out and you've been busy, haven't you? Yeah, getting all the Christmas tree lights up. The people are waiting. They're glad. Well, they would like to wait a little longer after Thanksgiving and then just tear it up. So are you local?
Yeah, well, originally from El Paso, Texas.
Uh-huh.
Moved up to New Mexico to raise my family. Been here in New Mexico 25 years.
Oh, wow.
Good.
Lived in Las Cruces, New Mexico, so now I decided to move up to.
To God's country, yes. Awesome. Well, we're glad to have you. Okay. Well, hopefully you enjoy your work. We appreciate what you're going to do and what you've been doing. Thank you very much. Gavin Garcia, Parks and Maintenance Supervisor, has been, that's what his promotion is to. How long have you been with us, Gavin? 3 years. 3 years. And promoted already. And I know for you young guys, that's hard. So I really am proud of you for that. Effective 10/22. So we appreciate what you do. So how can you tell us how it is at Parks and Rec? Not bad. Busy, right? Yeah, never a dull moment. Good. Well, we're glad to have you. Thank you. If there's anything we can do, please let us know.
Welcome.
Thank you. That's great, because used to we had a ton of positions, but I'm glad that we're getting on some young folks. Then we have the insurance.
She got held up at the county commission.
Yeah, I heard that was like running like a well-oiled machine down there. Yeah. You can go ahead and say what you want to. You're leaving after the meeting.
Well, I already did to Sam earlier. Sam was a blessing there. The rest of it.
Well, everybody knows this is Coughlin's last meeting, right? Yeah, so that's his biggest supporter, Bill, in the back row. He's been with us a while, Coughlin has, and he's finally got retired, and he's moving to Florida. His wife's already there, so he'll have a house going up for sale here pretty quick, as soon as he can get past inspections. He's already asking about his refund on his water deposit, so I
don't think, at the time, I'd never put a water deposit down. I think it was, at the time, if you were an owner, you didn't have to put down a deposit way back when.
Yeah, that was something you implemented, though, when you got here.
No, that was before me.
Yeah. Okay, well, we'll go back to the insurance if she's able to get here. Okay. And this was just kind of discussing about insurance rates, because we get a lot of phone calls from people in the community that their insurance is either not going to be renewed or severely gone up or just flat canceled. And so we've been reaching out to the insurance company and also some local brokers that have kind of given us a heads up on how to do things. And it really goes along with our forestry, defensible space, code enforcement on thinning and stuff like that. And so this is another validation of that program that is working. We'll get an update. Come on, Mr. Number 1 and the Number 2 business, Isaac, from the Ruidoso Wastewater Treatment Plan. He's going to tell us a little bit about that. And we don't hear about it, but y'all should know we have the Number 1 or Number 2. See you guys. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Wastewater treatment plants in the country. Isaac over here is the director of the wastewater treatment plant. Does a really great job. I can't remember the last time we had a but it was just on timing on the samples. But he gets third-party inspections all the time, has report to the EPA, the New Mexico Environmental Department, everybody in the Hondo Valley. And he does a great job. So we're getting ready to put in a new development down there on the fine screens because the plant is how old, Isaac?
The plant is 12 years old now.
Yeah, it seems a lot longer than that, doesn't it? So anyway, go ahead, and he has Christella that's with him, and she's over water, got a long title.
Water resource.
Resource and project management and some other stuff. So go ahead, Isaac.
So Mayor and Councilors, good afternoon. Good to see you guys.
Nice to see you.
So I hardly ever come to the full, to sit in front of you guys. I usually do the JUB, and so it's good to see all of you. So it's been a project in the making. And unfortunately, this is going to be the first of a few projects that are going to have to be ongoing in order to keep this wastewater plant running. In order to have MBR, which is membrane bioreactors, you got to have fine screening. You got to have coarse bar screening followed by fine screening to get rid of all the junk or debris that gets by that coarse bar screening. So these are going to be the first to be replaced. And what we decided, which would be the easiest project to replace these units, is they're called in-kind. So they're basically a mirror image of what we have right now. And the ones that we have right now, I mean, they look really pretty on the outside. I mean, they have a little bit of, you saw them, but on the inside, all the welds are starting to come apart. They're starting to deteriorate really bad because they run almost all day, every single day, 365 days a year, 24/7. I would say maybe, 24, maybe 20 hours a day. But, so what they're gonna do, we already have, Sauter Miller on the project, and they're gonna cut hatches in our roof, and they're gonna be, hatches that we'll be able to possibly use in the future. They'll be able to open up, we're gonna use a crane, and we'll run one screen out at a time as to not disrupt the process. Any of the other screens that we were offered, we were gonna have to shut down the process and somehow figure out a way to bypass all that flow in order to keep the wastewater flowing, because it never stops flowing. So we should have the final design, the preliminary drawings on 11/25, the final design 12/23, and it'll go to bid finally on January 9th. We will be receiving the screens from Ovivo in the beginning to the middle of December, the 5th or the 15th. So it's, like I said, it's been a while in the making, so it's good to see progress being made. We already actually cut a hole in our roof that Sauter Miller could come and take photos of the structure on the inside so they can have an idea of what they need to do. So, and they already came out and inspected all that, so hopefully we can start getting a move on everything.
Okay.
Any questions?
Have we got a price on what this was going to cost? I know they're doing the engineering, but there was a guesstimate, wasn't there?
The guesstimate on the engineering was $176,000 approximately, but I think they were gonna try to,
Well, I think they, Sauter Miller's charging the $176,000 to get
Engineer.
just to engineer it, and then they're part of that final design will tell us what the cost estimate is to finish it out, but they don't expect that it's gonna be more than what we put aside for the entire project, which was $2 million,
$2 million.
including the screens.
Okay.
So that's what they were telling me when I spoke with Marty Howell.
Okay. Because what these guys have done, his crew, I don't see any of them in the audience, but these guys are really terrific. They are able to maintain the equipment, and you have a bunch of stainless steel filters that the water goes through. And it kind of looks like an old wine press type thing. But when we have fats, oil, and greases that come from the Upper Canyon, come from the restaurants, the bars, all of those things, that's why we implemented the fats, oil, and grease, the FOG program. Because his guys were having to get in there, clean those out by hand, spray them with acidize them so it wears that metal out. So these things have a lifespan of how long?
About 10 years for the filters and 15 years for the cassettes themselves.
Yep. And so there's a lot of money that we've been putting into that, but we set aside plenty of money in R&R repair replacement for that. But this is a deal to help with the production of the plant, the fine screens.
To keep everything out at the preliminary before it gets into the plant.
Okay. Go ahead.
I just want to say, while Isaac is here, that I went with Mayor Pro Tem Salas, and I went, and we had about an hour and a half tour. And, you know, I have not, that's the only place that I had not gone to yet is the wastewater treatment plant. And it really did me some good for the last 5 years to sit here and listen to it. And, you know, it really brought some things to light. And I just can't believe what they do. I can't believe his workers going in and scrubbing those, and it's just amazing. So thank you, Isaac, to you and all of your people. You know, that plant is so clean.
Would you eat off the floor?
Well,
they're always saying you can drink the water.
But you know what? I was very pleasantly surprised. There's no odor. It was just very, very clean. And, you know, they're chemists, and it's just amazing what they do. And so I'm very proud of you, Isaac, and all of your workers. They do a great job.
Yeah, thank you.
Mayor Crawford, members of the council, I also want to recognize staff, Christella and Adam and Isaac and Randy and others. They had brought in the school district and Mrs. Overhue's class, and they gave presentations, and they also had a tour of the wastewater treatment plant, and they did a great job just with this class here. Just they were amazed by our, you know, all our facilities, so I give them a lot of credit for that.
Yes, thank you so much.
I don't know how many of them are going to be
we hope
lining up to work out there, but it would be nice.
Yeah, well.
Even if you just had one person that was interested.
Ms. Overhead, you said that there were a couple that were really interested. You know, you have your water production all the way through, so.
Awesome.
But the plant is managed by the Joint Use Board, which is a combination of village counselors and the Downs counselors. And so Mayor Pro Tem serves on that with me. And Gary Jackson down here, Councilor Jackson does. And we're the three that meet on those meetings every month. And so, but there's a lot of expense that goes into this. And when you look at your water bill, you have that's separated on your water bill. So that's part of the portion of the whole bill. But you guys do a great job. And like Albuquerque, you know, how many violations did they have in a row? Almost 300.
Yep. Yes, sir.
And so, you know, we don't have those. And so that's something that only good workmanship. You're very studious at what you do. And how many more years till you retire?
Yeah, I made my 25 on Friday.
So what does that mean?
I should just be putting in my paperwork.
Oh, my gosh.
No.
They just changed it to 45 before you can.
Well, I heard he just got a new motorcycle last year and he's.
Yes, I believe that's true. He asked, right?
So that's why we are really stressing and working with ENMU and level 3 and level 4 water masters, trying to do some recruitment starting at the high school level. Great paying job, but you guys are scientists and you have a really awesome crew out there.
Yeah,
Thank
So
you very much.
anyway, anybody else have any questions for Isaac?
Yes, Mayor, not necessarily a question, but a comment for the council and bring it up to the JUB meeting is that he made mention of that the flow never stops. And the building that they're working on is the first receiving of the sewer. And he was explaining to us if he had a bypass that where he could just shut the whole thing off and take it to the ponds, the old ones, correct?
Equalization basins.
So, and use that train in the time that they're replacing all the filters at the same time would save a lot of time and trouble. And so when we talk about the engineer working on that, I would, suggest that we, of course, through JUB, suggest that we get on, talking about that and seeing if we could get that approved, because in 10, we'll be back, or that council that will be here 10 years doing the same thing and anything. And that's what I've commend you, Isaac, is that you look at solutions, you have solutions and stuff. It's just getting it done. And I want to just be sure we cut out all the bureaucracy. And I know it's EPA and the State Environment Department that are hounding on us. And that's something that, being proactive of that system that we have out there. Because you're right, Mayor, this is the top of the line facility that we have the most. Not only is it the best treatment that could be produced in the nation, it's also the one with the strictest regulation guidelines of what we're discharging. And I always enjoy looking at your list on your discharge report that you got like 99% of removal. And like, look at Albuquerque, you're absolutely right. And even their levels are lower than what our standards are as far as nitrogen and potassium and all those things that they take out. So, but I would really suggest that we look into that and just start getting on that on a plan too. Because that really surprised me when you showed us that, man, I mean, I could shut this part off, but if I could do it all, and you're doing a great job, Isaac.
Yeah,
and
thank
the
you very
whole
much.
crew.
So I never did, I know we've talked a number of times, I never did get a chance to come out there and tour it, and I was really interested. But is there some sort of redundancy where you can shut off and the flow bypasses and goes another way in the system?
Like Pro Tim was saying, if there is, after that building, I can go to the equalization basis, but
Prior to
anywhere
that.
else, no. The only way it would actually overflow and have a major discharge.
So yeah, I agree with Counselor Salas. That's something that really needs to be looked at, because if we suffer some kind of major catastrophe, we're going to be in deep doo-doo.
Oh, yeah.
Literally. And there's got to be a way that there needs to be some sort of redundancy or an emergency bypass in there, because who knows what could happen. And when it does, nobody wants to be around.
That's why it was so imperative to get those fine screens even replaced and repaired, just in case. You just never know.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's after it was totally engineered and it's only 12 years old. We still find all these other applications. And the reason we're stricter by EPA is we're classified as a cold water stream,
Yes, sir.
not cool. And so when we did have a violation, it was just time and on the samples that were taken. But we're not talking about bacteria. We're talking about dissolved parts oxygen and nitrogen and things like that.
Nitrogen.
So, all right. Any questions? Anything else?
No, Mr. Mayor, but I did want to thank Isaac and your crew for all that you do. We kind of glossed over the certifications in your plant. Well, they're difficult, and especially at the level 3 and 4. As they went through some of the chemical processes that they have, I thought I was in organic chemistry again. And so it can't be understated about how much schooling and how much attention to detail is required to treat that water so that we don't have high nitrogen contents. And the effluent is virtually non-potable, basically. I mean, with a few drops of Clorox, you could drink it. And so no one's, it's not a glamorous wastewater treatment facility, but it is an incredibly efficient one, and it's a necessary one, because anyone knows that wastewater isn't important until it's backing up in your house. And so I want to really shout out to you and your crew and those that have gone the extra mile to get those certifications, because they're essential to keeping that plant certified. Right. And that's the big deal. I mean, with those reports, I think that one, when it was cited, was only because of the courier mishap, and it really wasn't on you, it was on them. So again, thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Isaac.
Okay, let's go ahead, and that concludes, because Stephanie's not here either.
But we have we have Rick here with the Boys and
Yeah, I
Girls.
was going to get to Rick, but
Perfect.
Stephanie,
No.
the new RMA director's not here.
No, Mayor and members of the council, she had a trip to, out of town today, so
Okay,
we'll get it rescheduled.
all right. And then, so we'll move on to the CEO, the Boys and Girls Club of Chavez and Lincoln Counties, Rick Lamb. So welcome, Rick Lamb. We've met before,
Yes.
so as soon as he's gone, are you going to change everything? Is that normally how they
He's
do it?
already changing things.
Yes, I'm already changing.
Are you changing things? Good.
Yes. Yeah, so, besides just membership requirements for the Boys and Girls Club that we have to start meeting anyway, starting the first of the year, we've taken a big, look at staff training and making sure that we get them as much information as humanly possible. Boys and Girls Club has done a phenomenal job at giving us a lot of resources for training. And so because of that, we are taking advantage of those. We are also going to start taking advantage of the fact that they have the ability to we can make some of our employees actual trainers. And by doing that, that allows us to do in-person training. So instead of staring at a computer all the time, now we're able to have an in-person training, and they're meeting the same requirements that they're expected. Some of those, of course, requirements that are coming up, it's not even going to be for staff, it's going to be for volunteers when we start getting into that realm again, is they have to go through safety training, they have to go through grooming prevention training, they have to go through mandated reporting training. They want to make sure that the staff knows what they are doing and what they are coming into, because there's a lot of things that we are responsible for. We are responsible for the future of Ruidoso, and we want to make sure that we take care of them the very best that we can. Another thing that we are working more on is mentoring. We've always worked on mentoring, but for me, mentoring is a huge thing. The times that we live in, it gets more and more difficult, and these kids need to have somebody to actually talk to and work through these issues that they have going on. Of course, we have our normal one-on-one kind of mentoring. We never put ourselves in a one-on-one situation, but we do put ourselves in an area where other people are around, but we can still have those conversations that we need to have. But we've also started doing other programs that Boys and Girls Club have spent years and money implementing to make sure that they are good for the kids and that they are going to teach them what they need to be taught. Of course, for years, we have continued the Power Hour program. Power Hour is fundamental in making sure that the kids understand not only the importance of doing homework, but the importance of having a repetition of doing homework. And we help them with homework support, tutoring, and then, of course, technology engagement activities as well. From there, STEAM, this is becoming a very, very big thing in our world. And so I want to make sure that we have as many resources as we possibly can. So that is a big focus that I have. Literacy, of course, is always a focus. There are kids that I know of that come to one of the two clubs that are in 3rd and 4th grade and can barely read. And that's just heartbreaking to me. And so literacy needs to be a big part of that. But STEAM is always a big part because this is our world that we live in. We wouldn't be able to have in Ruidoso the water waste management plant that we do if we didn't have STEAM around to help people to actually learn those sorts of things. We have programs like Smart Moves. This is a skills, mastery, and resilience training. We're going to teach them about life. We're going to teach them the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything in between. It's also a prevention training and education as well. The younger kids, of course, we're not going to have that deep, dark conversation about drugs and alcohol, but there needs to be a conversation, and they need to understand that it is a part of the world. 3rd graders are getting suspended from schools because they have e-cigarettes that, could potentially have fentanyl in them because they're off the black market. These are the things that we're dealing with, and we're trying very, very hard at the Boys and Girls Club to try and make these changes the best that we can. Positive Action, this isn't a Boys and Girls Club program, but it is a very effective program. 144 different modules that you can work with in this program. It's amazing the time and effort that you can do with these kids, and some of those are literally 15-20 minutes long, and for 15-20 minutes you can make a big change. Positive Action is designed to improve youth academics, behavior, and character. Take those bad characters and help them to become the good characters so that we have those kids who are willing to stand up when a bully is coming at somebody else. There's many other things, of course, that we are working on. These are my main focuses right now, but I have big hopes for the Boys and Girls Club in Ruidoso. I am just 40 years old, so I have a lot of time left to make a lot of changes. And I stand for questions.
Was that like a dig at?
I think so. It's
Not bad changes.
You're
from
collecting
what you did,
Medicare
but
and he
I
is.
have
Yeah,
some-
huh, I'm only 40 years old.
That's right.
Really? I thought you were like 48.
Nope.
So are you going to be headquartered out of Roswell or here?
I will be headquartered out of Roswell, but I will be in Ruidoso, averaging at least once a week. There's no point in me overseeing Ruidoso if I'm not officially here too, and being able to interact with the staff and the kids up here.
So you have staffed up here in Ruidoso?
Yes, I do.
Okay, cool.
I have great staff up here in Ruidoso.
And I know that we work a lot with Boys and Girls Club on Parks and Rec, you know, basketball and all the different things like that. So sometimes that gets a little complicated.
Yeah.
But our staff, he just stepped out or whatever, so I'm sure your folks will have a great relationship
Oh, yeah.
with them, so.
Yeah.
How many kids do you have registered?
Right now, we're K through 5, and we have about 55 kids registered. We are licensed, which is something that I am going to be working on over this next year to push a little bit more. Being licensed 400% above poverty level, there is a great chance that you could be coming to the club for free. Doesn't cost you a single thing, and the buses actually bring you directly to the club. So, and from there, it's not just elementary that I want to be in, though. I want to be with the middle schoolers. I want to be with the high schoolers. You don't make a change by starting off with the younger groups. You make a change by affecting them K through 12.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Good
Mr.
luck.
Mayor, Rick, if you could, and thank you for that presentation. It was very, very detailed and appreciated. One of the terms you used kind of caught my attention for your youth, and that was technical engagement activities. Could you define that a little for me?
So it comes back to that whole STEAM process. Technology is huge, whether it's computers, whether it's tablets, whether it's learning how to use a robot and being able to move it around. We have Lego robotics that are going on at the club right now. We have grants that we have written to hopefully bring some more coding stuff back into the club as well. But being able to actually have the kids engage in technology and do it in a safe way. We have technology agreements with all the kids and their parents. Not only the parents sign it, but the kids sign it as well, because we want everybody to understand that we do have expectations on how you use the technology at the club, but we want to teach them how to use it properly. So as they start getting older, as they start being able to do more research, we'll be able to teach them how to research properly. They'll be able to learn how to use programming properly, and they're not just jumping onto YouTube and watching a video and hoping they get something figured out, or watching some weird thing that's going on at this point in time. They're learning something, and that's the biggest part about the Boys and Girls Club. It's about learning. It's not a daycare center. It's not a place where you come and drop off your kids. It's about learning, and it's about becoming the very best adults that you can potentially be.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice.
Any other questions?
See, I taught him well. I was gonna have to, you said something about grooming prevention. What exactly is that?
So grooming prevention, the truth is no matter how many times you do a background check, no matter how many times you do an FBI fingerprint check, somebody's gonna slip through the cracks. Grooming prevention helps employees to understand what somebody who could potentially harm the children of Ruidoso would do to get them away. Whether it's favoritism, whether it's trying to have that one-on-one contact that we so strictly stay against. All of these different things, that's what grooming prevention is. It's making sure that the employees are aware of what somebody who could potentially harm the children would do to a child to get them to do whatever they need them to do. Having conversations outside of the club, that is a strict policy that we have. As the employees know what to look for, now they can come to us and say, hey, we saw this happening. We want to make sure that you guys know, because this isn't something that we're supposed to be doing. And that allows us to catch those people who could potentially bring harm to the children of Ruidoso.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Anything else? Thank you very much.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Rick.
guys.
Appreciate it. If
Have
you
a
ever
great
need
day.
anything from us, just let us know.
Will do. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll go to boards and commission and knock that out real quick. we have one opening throughout the whole village, had one opening. And so I would submit to you Brenda Garcia to be on the, and I know that several different ones know her, to be on the library board. And so we appreciate her. I know that Councilor Letterman worked with her some years back. She's with Region 9 now, has some kiddos of her own. And so if I could get a motion,
I'd like to make that motion.
go right ahead.
I move that we accept Brenda Garcia to the library board.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion, a second.
Counselor
Roll call.
Coughlin?
Yeah, you're going to give it to him since
it's his last
now
hurrah.
goes to the loser.
Get him out.
Counselor Letterman?
Aye.
Counselor Coughlin?
Aye.
Counselor Eby?
Aye.
Counselor Salas?
Aye.
Counselor Hooker?
Aye.
Counselor Jackson?
Aye.
Thanks, Brenda.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate
Thank
you
you very
very
much. Thanks for sticking around. You
Thank
bet.
you.
We'll go ahead and move to public hearing before we go to Bill's favorite part of the program, the cake cutting. Public hearing for ordinance 2023-13, an ordinance authorizing the issuance of the Village of Ruidoso, New Mexico General Obligation, GO Bonds, Series 2023, excuse me, in the aggregate principal amount of $1,500,000 for the purpose to enlarge, improve, and extend the production and distribution components of the village's water system, providing that the Series 2023 bond will be payable from ad valorem taxes levied on all taxable property within the village. Welcome, Chris Muirhead.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor, members of the council. I'll start right at the end of that introduction there on the ad valorem taxes to remind you this is the general obligation bond of the village, which you have been doing annually now for over a decade through a revolving bond program put in place. It is subject to an election, so this is the second issuance of the 2022 election, which approved $3 million of GO bonds. Annually, there is $1.5 million issued, so this is the second of those issuances. To move the program forward, it again would go on the ballot for your local election in the spring of 2024. It is related to, as the mayor said, and you're all familiar with, improvements to the water system of the village. It does delegate authority to the mayor and the city manager to accept the pricing terms. So the state statutes were amended about 5 years ago to provide for approval of the debt, which is what you would be doing today, delegating authority to the mayor and the manager so that there is the maximum flexibility to accept the best pricing terms. The financial advisor for the village, Hilltop Securities, has sent out a bid requesting, or sent out a request for bids to banks and other interested parties that invest in municipal debt of this size. That is due November 21st, and at that point, we'll have an idea what the interest rates are. And then the best, George Williford at Hilltop will advise, is the best deal and work with the village to accept that. The final maturity would be 2034, and again, that's incorporated into the existing debt so that now, all the way through the existing debt, this being 2034, there's basically level debt service so that your debt service mill levy on property doesn't fluctuate. And that is critical for voter confidence, that when you say, keep approving this and see the good work that's being done, and your property taxes are not going to go up. And that's how this is structured to do that. The ordinance itself has a form of the bond and the various accounts that are created. Happy to answer anything about it. It is consistent with what you've seen in the past. And like I said, this is the second issuance of the $3 million previously approved by the voters. Again, happy to answer any questions about it.
Do you have a kind of a guesstimate of what interest we might hit?
Yeah, I was thinking about that. I would be guessing somewhat, and I don't think George is on the Zoom.
I don't see him.
Yeah, I don't see him either. I would speculate somewhere in the 4.5 to 5. It's tax exempt. It is extraordinarily secure. I would, in my mind, view that as the top end of what I would expect to see. So I think likely could be lower, just being conservative. Again, the interest rates have gone up markedly. Oh, is he on there?
I'm just trying to get him to turn the air conditioner up. Susan's over here smoking us all out.
I'm not doing anything.
So the interest rates have gone up markedly, as you all are familiar with, over the last year since you did this before. But again, this is the most secure of credit, your ad valorem taxes. The size of the debt is appealing. And so I would think that it would be anywhere from 3.5 to 4.5.
Okay,
Yes,
thank you.
yes.
Any other questions? Okay. So, this is a public hearing, so at this time, we'll open it up to the public. If there's anybody in the public that would like to speak to it, for it, or against it, we need you to raise your hand, and then we'll swear you in. And I don't see our attorney, so we'll get a clerk to do it. Is there anybody that wants to anybody out there in the World Wide Web? See anybody with their hands held up? Okay. All right, no, talkie. Okay, so we'll close the public portion, and I would entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve ordinance 2023-13, an ordinance authorizing the issuance of the Village of Ruidoso Nemaska General Obligation Bonds, Series 2023, in the aggregate principal amount of $1,500,000 for the purpose to enlarge, improve, or to extend the production and distribution components of the village's water system, providing that the Series 2023 bonds will be payable from ad valorem taxes levied on all taxable property within the village.
Second.
Okay, any final discussion? Yes, sir?
I just want to make a comment. This is an amazing opportunity that I've never heard of before until coming on the council when this was set up in the beginning, where we're constantly revolving and bringing more money in, and it doesn't cost us any more. I mean, that's the thing that you mentioned it, but everybody needs to know your property taxes will not go up. It just gives us the money to go ahead and continue making the improvements in our water system. And in March, there will more than likely be another bond issued because it's every 2 years and in even numbered years. And I strongly encourage everybody to continue voting for this. And it allows us to, because $1.5 million is a lot of money, but it doesn't go very far. And we constantly need that money to continue making improvements to, we've already reduced the amount of water loss tremendously. The quality of our water is way up there. We're getting rid of the old galvanized lines, which way back when was the way to do it. Bury those in the ground. Well, bury a galvanized line and look at it 20, 30 years later, and you'll find out why not to do it. So, so this is, like I said, Chris, thank you for your leadership and your advice on these that have come up. But this is a great opportunity, and we need to continue to vote for these and authorize these going into the future.
Good one.
That's it.
We're sure going to miss you. You always have to throw in that extra 2.5 minutes.
But.
Roll call, please.
Moving right along.
Counselor Jackson.
Aye.
Counselor Hooker.
Aye.
Counselor Coughlin.
Aye.
Counselor Salas.
Aye.
Counselor Letterman.
Aye.
Counselor Eby.
All right, thank you, Chris.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you,
And we're
Chris.
working with Chris and George on some other stuff, too.
That very topical thing we were hitting on earlier, yes.
Yeah,
it's-
on housing.
Yeah, and to see it firsthand is, we're with you.
Okay.
Good.
So we've tried everything in the box, the standard things on housing, and as well, y'all know, we've been working on it for years. We've gotten a little bit down the road, but we haven't been able to close anything of significance. So now then, we're out of the box and looking at other opportunities, and so we're looking forward to it. Thank you very much. We only have 5 deals left before closed session. You think we can just push, this has been the fastest meeting in the history of the meetings. Instead of breaking for cake.
Keep going.
Just keep going, yeah.
It'll be
Regular-
time to enjoy his company and the cake.
Yes, that's it. Yeah. Item number 1. Well, he's been saying he's going to leave since, like February? It's
we
like
keep
Counselor
hoping
COVID. We thought he was gone, but,
I guess I have to put his Christmas present away.
yeah.
The hula hoop counselor.
Yeah.
Keeps going round and round.
Discussion and possible action on objection of resolution 2023, finding the property at 313 Paradise Canyon Drive a public nuisance. Hello, Bobby.
Good morning.
Officer
Well, it's
Simpson.
afternoon, isn't it now?
Yeah, it is this afternoon.
All right, so today, I believe that we have the person representing or responsible party who has objected to this resolution, I believe they're on, is it correct? Correct. Okay, so today, we're here to hear the objection to the resolution finding the property at 313-315 Paradise Canyon. You're all very familiar with this property, finding it a public nuisance. When the last resolution was passed, we required that removal of all inoperable or abandoned vehicles. All of those items were removed, as well as any bins, boxes, lumber, trash, things contributing to blight, as well as weeds, grasses, and trees. So today you will hear the objection from Ms. Gray, and you have three possible outcomes from this. Number one, hear the objection, decide to move forward and give direction to enforce the resolution. You can decide to dismiss the resolution, or there's always middle ground. That will be where our village attorney gives some advice. There's always middle ground as far as timeframes or other things that as the council so sees. But basically, you have the two extremes, required to enforce the resolution, completely do away with the resolution, or somewhere in between. So with that.
Can you give us a little timeline? How long this property on Paradise?
So
we've been working on this.
This property on Paradise initially was brought to my desk as an early code enforcement officer back in 2011. I was made aware of this property at that time. We attempted to make contact a couple of times over those first few years, and I believe that this is the at least fourth time that this specific property has been brought before the Village of Ruidoso Council as a nuisance. It seems like every time we bring this before council, a little bit of progress is made, and then we backslide right back to where we were, square one. Were we able, okay, you do have photographs? Yes, please. I did take photographs of the property today before coming to the council meeting so that you can compare those with what you've seen in the past. Some very minimal things have been done on the property, including removal of the panels of the fence, but not the actual posts that were holding up the fence. That fence was erected without a permit. Other than that, the only observable difference is some cleanup in the yard, including some trees that have been cut and just some general cleanup of some of those items that would could be considered slash type items. And yeah. Go one more. So this area right here, which is just to the left of the main house, this area has been cleaned up of some of the trees. And that's, as far as other than the fence, that's the only notable difference that I can see since this property was brought before council and determined a nuisance at that time.
But all the cars are gone.
All the vehicles are actually still on the property. The box truck, the van, Dodge pickup, and I don't remember what the other make is, but that truck that's in the
Chevy.
photograph there, either Chevy or GMC. But all of those vehicles are still on the property, as well as the items that are outside, such as there are some vending machines. I don't know the operable status of those. All the panels of the fence have just been moved into the property to be stacked up to be, again, still a property nuisance. And then we've got just some general cleanup of the property that needs to be done as far as trees, weeds, and grasses contributing to blight.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions of Bobby?
Have you talked with forestry with that? Is there anything as far as any violations considered as far as your defensible space and forestry department?
So yes, the overgrowth on the property, and some of which has been taken care of, that was, I noted in the photographs that were taken today. But there are trees that are on that property, and I don't want to say the wrong name of these. I think they're called Tree of Heaven or something of that nature, but they're an invasive tree, and that's mostly what covers a good chunk of the property. Again, some of those have been removed, so I'd have to get one of the forestry personnel out to actually say if there was any other violations, but I believe there to still be overgrowth on the property that's at least contributing to blight, if not the forestry standards.
Did forestry ever go out and mark the trees that needed to be removed?
At one point, but again, we're talking about none of the large trees are going to be in violation to the best of my knowledge. It's mostly the undergrowth and the Tree of Heaven, I believe is the correct term for it, and all of that vegetation that seems to grow up in between every time we bring this back to council.
Right, okay.
Mr. Mayor, Officer Simpson, is it fair to say that this has been 12 years of non-compliance?
We've never brought the property fully into compliance.
Would it be also fair to say that this creates a real threat as far as health and safety, given that you have these vehicles, the undergrowth, all of it?
Yes, with that in mind, we did have a fire at this location on the backside of the property. An electrical fire happened. So this, even if we brought the property into compliance, I would still want to pursue, which we do have these options for the vacant building standards, so that someone visits the property regularly to ensure that it doesn't dilapidate to the point where it's even more of a health and safety issue. But at this point, I would say, yes, it is a safety issue.
Thank you.
Okay, so this is not an objection to code or anything like that, so this is not a quasi judicial situation. This is.
That's correct, Mayor. This is a regular action item.
Okay, does anybody else have any questions of Officer Simpson? Okay, if we could go to, I'm sorry, what was her name? Shannon Gray, would you like to speak to this, please?
Yes, I would. Thank you for allowing me to speak, Honorable Mayor, Honorable Council people, and to the code enforcement officer. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. In regards to the property being unused for that long, that was when my father was alive and he was living here, and I had no control over the property. He was disabled and he had some mental decline, and we are cleaning up after that. I've been doing the best I can. I hired a contractor to put up the fence, and because I hired the contractor has to get the permit. I did not know that the contractor did not get the permit. So that's why I took down the fence panels after I got approval from the judge to do so. I haven't been able to take down the fence posts yet, but I'm working on trying to do that. I am disabled. I have a deteriorating spinal condition. I have an autoimmune disorder. Thank you so much for allowing me accommodation to appear over Zoom. I appreciate that. I have some severe health conditions, including autonomic dysfunction. I'm working as best as I can. I was bedridden for 2 years, and I spent all my money trying to get the property up to code. I have been working to try to get this taken care of. As to the fire, that was not electrical. I had an electrician come out and look at it. Apparently it was arson. So it is not an electrical issue. And I have dug up the trees of paradise, or the trees of heaven, that have come from across the road, so that they will not grow back as readily. I have also made arrangements to have someone take care of the property for me in terms of the overgrowth and the blight. I did do what the forestry asked, and I paid someone to cut down the trees that they want to cut. And I paid quite a lot of money to do that. I paid the fencing guy money for the fence, and I paid him also to remove the junk. I've spent over $8,000, all of the money that I have in this world, to try to get this place in code, because it does mean a lot to me. This was my grandmother's and grandfather's cabin, and our family. I grew up here. I care deeply about the property, and I understand that it does need work, and I'm here and I'm trying to work on it. I haven't been able to work on it as much as I would like when I've been up here due to my own health conditions and my own disabilities and my mother's life-threatening illness that I have had to take care of and help her with. So I'm continuing to work. The vehicles, all the vehicles are sold, and we're just working on logistics to get them out of there, except for the orange Chevy, which I will be storing properly with those fence panels. I did have a surveyor come out and do the property, so I will be applying for a permit to put up the fence, because I understand now that that is a thing that needed to be done. I couldn't do that myself, because in the law it says that if a contractor is doing it, the contractor has to do the permit. I wasn't able to do a homeowner's permit for that fence because I wasn't the one doing it. I had hired someone to do this. So I'm out of money, but I am here and I'm working on it. And I just ask for your consideration for that, because for most of the use of the property, it was not my responsibility, but I am working to maintain it. I am working to have it to be where I can live here full time. I have been here for months now. I've been working on it since May. It may not seem like there's been a lot of progress to people outside, but I assure you it has been my priority being here to work on it. I apologize for it taking so long, but with my disabilities, I'm doing the best I can, as best as I can. If I had the money, I would take care of it, but several contractors have ripped me off. I have hired a new contractor, and he is helping me with it, with what money that I do have left. So please understand that I understand the importance and the safety issues and everything, and I promise you, this place means the world to me. I grew up here. My grandparents have been here since the 50s. This property has been in our family since the 50s. We love it. We're trying to take care of it as quickly as we can. The vending machines were sold several times, and they promised to come and pick them up, and then they did not come. So those are in progress to be off of the property, except for the two that are working, and they do have the Coke machine, where we have the two different sizes of the Coke machines that do work for us to use. And we've had those since we were kids. They are in working condition, so they are not blight. I'm working on everything that y'all need me to do. And I do understand that it is taking longer than would be preferable, but I'm trying my best. And I respectfully ask for you to consider that.
Shannon, how long have you been in charge of the property?
I've been in charge of the property since my father passed away, and since the probate is still going through, I'm the executor and I'm working on that. That's another reason that it is taking so long with the vehicles, because I have to get permission and I have to do extra paperwork and I have to do the extra steps necessary, because when the property's under probate, there are legal issues.
So if the council was consider more time, what type of a time frame are you looking at?
Right now, it's slow going because with my autonomic dysfunction, my body cannot control anything that other people's bodies do automatically, such as maintaining body temperature. In the winter, it is incredibly difficult for me. I have a pain disorder that causes extreme pain, and I have extreme arthritis, and I have all of the other conditions, and I cannot maintain my body temperature. So if I could have a little bit more time to do that. The vehicles are supposed to be moved relatively soon. So those are going to be taken care of. The blight, I'm working on that right now. I'm taking care of that. I've done all the things with the forestry to bring it up to the code for that. There were a couple things that when I paid the guy for junk removal, I don't know that he didn't see them or missed them somehow, that I will be removing. I have help from Keller Pro Services, and they will be taking the red car, the red truck, and the van, and I have sold the step van. The classic Chevrolet, the 1967 C10, I do have the panels to store it properly as to codes. I will be applying for the permit to do that. I broke my foot trying to move the fence panels by myself.
So you said you hired a contractor. Is it a licensed contractor?
He is working, yes, he is a licensed contractor.
Okay. All right.
I have limited money to do what's left because I did pay 2 other contractors before, like for the fence. That was about $6,000. And I paid another guy for help with the repair of the house, $1,200, and they never showed up, or they did the fence incorrectly and all that money is gone. So with me being fully disabled, I'm trying my best. If I had the money,
Okay.
I would. So it's just me here, and I'm working, and except for what I can do with the contractor, but he will be taking those vehicles soon.
Okay.
And
Does anyone on
we're just
the
working on the logistics.
council have any questions or for Shannon? Yes, sir.
Yeah, Ms. Gray, you mentioned you either hired or made arrangements for someone to take care of the property. When did that take place?
I'm working on that now, actually. I am exchanging the right to park on one of my lots for keeping the yard maintained.
So that would be one of your
So-
neighbors?
I'm sorry?
That's one of your neighbors then? Be
Yes,
able to park on the lot in exchange for them taking care of it?
yes, and since we're taking care of the property.
Okay. And you
So
mentioned,
it will not become overgrown again.
and you mentioned you've been, are you here in Ruidoso or are you out of town? You're here full-time?
I'm here right now. I have been splitting my time in Las Cruces because I'm taking care of my mother
Okay.
while she's sick.
Okay.
But I am here
You
right
had
now,
mentioned
and
that you've been here since May and you're making progress. I'll just be perfectly honest with you. I drive by that house once or twice a day. And other than the fence panels coming down, I really do not see any noticeable difference in that property. And it's been going on for quite a while. And I'm sorry for the problems that you have in your health and your parents and everything else. But at the same time, to me, this is definitely something that affects the health and safety of the village. With that overgrowth and the lack of maintenance, if we get a fire through there, that property can go up pretty quickly and then spread through that canyon. So I'm not inclined to rescind the resolution myself.
Anyone else?
I understand about having the resolution and having that. I'm not asking to be exempt. I'm just asking that there will be some time. See, that's what I'm working with the contractor for. I don't have any money, so we're exchanging the truck for help with the repairs and everything. So we're working on things like that. And I'm not asking for it not to be brought up to code. I'm just letting you know that I'm working on it and I am going to be having it brought up to code relatively soon because those vehicles will be gone soon. All of the front yard was covered with those invasive trees that we've been asking for years to have taken care of across the street before they came into our property. And with the neighbor's request to have them dug up, I've been digging them up, even with my back. And you can see all of the front yard, all of the side yard, all of those trees are gone. And I've made the arrangements to keep everything taken care of. The junk has been removed except for a couple of scraps, which I will be taking care of. The vehicles will be removed. Everything is being addressed.
Anyone? I know that we've been here before on this, and I know we've had a control change on this. So you can basically uphold the resolution, agree with the objection, or come up with a third course. So.
I'm just asking for more time, please.
Okay, thank you. And she's asking for more time. So what I would like to do, if there's no other discussion, if someone's ready to foster a motion, we'll take after it.
Mr. Mayor, I move to uphold Resolution 2023-33, finding the property at 313 Paradise Canyon Drive a public nuisance.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any final discussion?
Can I just make one amendment that your motion is to enforce the resolution, just because that's what it says in the statute?
Okay.
I would accept that as, and restate it. Would you like me to restate it? Mr. Mayor, I withdraw the former motion and proceed with this one. I move to uphold Resolution 2023-33.
Enforce.
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 I was going to put that at the end.
Oh, okay, sorry to interrupt.
Because the recommendation says uphold.
Question.
We haven't done the motion.
Just waiting on the motion.
Mr. Mayor, I move to enforce Resolution 2023-33, finding the property at 313 Paradise Canyon Drive a public nuisance.
Second.
Discussion?
It for Zach, because at the workshop meeting when we were discussing this here, and you were saying even if we did bring forth this discussion now, and that we voted to even uphold the resolution and to enforce that, it would still move the timeline back to zero. Is that what's happening, Zach, or not?
No, my recollection of the conversation last week is that this, having heard the objection and moving to enforce the resolution keeps the timeline on track with the statute, which provides that after you guys take action today to enforce, she has 5 days to commence.
And if she doesn't, then we can implement a clean and lean policy.
So basically, instead of 10 days, she's got 5 days.
Correct.
So it essentially does move it back to zero. Only thing it does is just change 10 days to 5 days.
Right.
Yeah, I guess when you look at it that way, when you took the original action of adopting the resolution, that gave 10 days after that was posted on her door to either object or commence. She objected timely, and then the statute says if she objects, you have a hearing, and then after that, if you enforce it, then she's got 5 more days. So, yeah.
In all essence, this is actually still giving more time.
5 days.
5 days.
Well, because you're not enforcing the previous resolution, which actually should have been, let's just say, your timeline was different then, because now you essentially moved it from
5 days.
there to now. That's what I'm saying. So you essentially are moving the goalpost.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, is when we put this resolution in place, she had 10 days. Now, we're potentially going to enforce the resolution and give her 5 days. So we are, in a sense.
Giving her extra time.
Giving her more time, yes.
5 days.
That I understand she probably won't be able to make.
But without a hard, fast, I mean, if we were offered 30 days or 60 days, I might be inclined to let it go a little bit, but at this point, we don't know when it will be accomplished. And then we're getting into the winter, so it's really going to be difficult to do it. So this, unfortunately, this has been going on far too long, and I think it's time that we just need to stop and move forward on it.
Can I please at least have 30 days?
No, because I think you're just now saying 30 days. I don't think that 30 days is reasonable.
Okay, we've had a motion, a second,
Could I have a
discussion. I need a roll call, please, ma'am.
Counselor Jackson?
Aye.
Counselor Coughlin?
Aye.
Counselor Hooker?
Aye.
Counselor Solis?
Aye.
Counselor Letterman?
Aye.
Counselor Eby?
Okay, so the vote was to enforce the ordinance. So, Mr. Simpson, if you'll move that forward for the resolution. Move on to item number 2, presentation, discussion, and possible action on designation report with Metropolitan Redevelopment Area Plan for the Meacham Drive corridor. What in the world is all this about, people are asking? And you've heard us talk, whine about housing, and this is another opportunity to get us in front of funding opportunities that keep the rents low. Yes, ma'am, Samantha.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. With us today, I have Phyllis Taylor and Carlos Gamora to present what has taken place so far. It's still in draft form. It's been published on our website, and everyone within the boundary has been mailed, and it's been advertised in the newspaper a few times. So far, we have a draft designation report that identifies areas of blight, vacant properties, and there's a boundary that has been established. They have a presentation prepared for you all, so I'll let them take it over from here.
Okay.
All right, there. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
So good afternoon, Mayor, members of the council. As Sam said, my name is Carlos Camora. I'm a planner at Site Southwest. I also have Phyllis Taylor on. We've been working with staff for the past few months on this metropolitan redevelopment area plan. I'll explain kind of quickly what that is, talk about some of the proposed boundaries, and hopefully be short enough that you guys can get to Kate quickly. The metropolitan redevelopment area. So this is a state designation, which is why when I use a lot of these kind of terms like blight, or when we start talking about redevelopment, it might not be the typical way that we want to do that. But in order to meet state law, the State Metropolitan Redevelopment Act, that's where we're kind of putting these things into boxes. The most important part about this is we first have to demonstrate need. We have to demonstrate that in some way the district isn't really thriving, that there's some kind of vacancy or poor condition that we have to overcome, that there's some problems with different types of owners or different types of goals that are making redevelopment difficult. Another one is that the community has a need for a lot of new or diverse housing, which of course is a big, big deal in this community. So the designation report that we'll talk about, and both the draft designation report and the plan are in your packet. But the designation report documents that need and sets that boundary. So what MRAs do, the Metropolitan Redevelopment Areas, or that act, it provides opportunities for rehabilitation and redevelopment. It tries to encourage commercial areas that are underperforming, allows public investment in those kinds of commercial redevelopments. It provides relief from the anti-donation clause. So the anti-donation clause is kind of preventing public money from going into a private sector agreement. This allows that as a form of investment, so a public investment into public-private partnerships. It allows tax increment financing to different ways. When we start talking about, you mentioned, with the GO bond, tried a lot of the typical approaches. Now we're getting on to more creative stuff. This is an example of a lot of these kind of creative processes that we could use to start changing the fundamental structure of why housing redevelopment isn't happening. It also allows additional types of redevelopment bonds for projects. Now, when I bring up things like opportunities and allowance and potential or possibility, something really important is that this kind of designation does not in any way tie the hands of the village. It does not tie the hands of property owners. It is enabling these kinds of tools, and I could go through the toolbox if you want to. I don't know if you want. If you want me to go into more of the toolbox, I can. But the important part is that it provides a lot of opportunities to use different kinds of tools.
So could you touch on the public-private partnerships when you're referring to the anti-donation clause? So just people understand how that can work.
Yeah, so typically with the anti-donation clause, public entities can't, let's say, give $10,000 to property owner bill for putting in a better sign, right? Unless there's some kind of purpose for that. So you can't have public money really going into private development or private opportunities. What the MR process does is it tries to establish that by spending money on some of these private projects, by trying to encourage private redevelopment, what's actually happening is that's an investment in the area that is then going to be able to bring back more tax revenue, is going to be bringing back more potentially housing development, other kinds of economic benefits to the village. And so that is no longer just a donation. It's an investment in economic development. Does that make sense, Mr. Mayor?
Absolutely.
Great. So the process we have is we first set up a designation report. So the designation report assesses the state of the corridor. In this case, it's Meacham. It identifies different conditions that are restricting growth and economic health and establishes a boundary, a designation boundary with which we want to use these different kinds of tools. The second part is the plan. So it tries to plan for future development and proposes different kinds of redevelopment projects that could address some of the issues that we're finding and spur some of that economic development. So for the Meacham corridor, as we started looking into this, we've done some analysis, some surveys. We've gone there. We've chatted with a lot of different folks. We are proposing these boundaries. So the boundary up on your map, again, it's also in your packet. I could also zoom in if you want to at some point in time, but we're proposing these boundaries along Meacham corridor. It includes some properties that are a little bit farther in from Meacham to again, allow different kinds of redevelopment possibilities. A lot of this is, of course, private property. Private property owners are not committed to any kind of redevelopment. All it provides is extra tools if they wanted to use that. It provides extra tools if another purchaser wanted to come in and purchase that property. It does not commit existing property owners to do any kind of activity that they don't want to do. So this is the boundary. I'll zoom in and we could talk about this a little bit more. Let me first just talk about some of the designation reports. So in the designation report, we did find different kinds of conditions of a blight, the state defines it as. This does not mean that it's a failed corridor. It does not mean that there shouldn't be investment. On the contrary, it means that this area needs extra love. It needs help from both the public and private parties. And this process tries to help encourage and incentivize that kind of investment and redevelopment of sites. So we identify different kinds of structures, sometimes having a deterioration, the lack of adequate housing, right? It's come up, a dozen times just in this meeting, being able to have adequate housing, especially for the workforce of the village. Deterioration of different site and other improvements. So some of the difficulties with building in the difficult terrains, having that large corridor coming through, different ownership divisions. So we identified some of these conditions, and we're using that to then start to recommend overall goals. So in the MRA plan, we identify both the economic development goal being one of the largest goals for this community, for this corridor. So trying to help make Meacham corridor become a little bit more of a thriving commercial mixed use district that has a lot of different goods and services, but also the kind of district that's able to provide a lot of mixed income housing for community members, and that permanent mix of affordable and market rate homes. So from that, we've got some of these different proposed projects over here. So having different programs to help with vacant sites and building development, potentially putting together a business alliance to start driving some of that outside of just the village. Looking into some sidewalk extension repair programs, and different funding that could be available for that. Different kinds of facade improvement programs, which is very similar to what's already been used in the Sutterth corridor. The zoning policy update, that's already something that staff and ourselves are working on, and then trying to, again, really target residential developments and get more incentives and more financial benefit for that process. I'm going to pause there and see if there's questions or other kind of avenues that might be most helpful for the mayor and members of the council to explore. Yeah, so I'll stand for questions right now.
Does anybody have any questions?
Yeah, I was seeing that the Innsbrook Village is included in the boundaries of this MRA, or redevelopment zone, I'm sorry, how does this program benefit that, since most of those, are townhomes or condos, whatever they are, and they're individually owned? So what would this program do in that area, or potentially?
Great question, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. Yeah, so it's not very likely that this kind of development would fully redevelop, right? That it's all going to be sold off and raised and entirely reconstructed. Very, very unlikely that that would actually happen. Instead, it would actually be looking at if there was different kinds of infrastructure improvements that would have to happen for this, if there was different kinds of potentially the walls or fences or, again, other kinds of infrastructure or aesthetic improvements, that could be something to look into. We also wanted to provide opportunities for the Texas Club and some of the other commercial properties along Metz, just trying to identify, if there was different things there, we wanted to be able to extend those opportunities to those areas. Yeah, does that answer your question? There are, again, there's not like specific things that we really think could happen right now, but we did want to provide those opportunities for that area.
Yeah, so basically what you're saying, it just opened up that area to the toolbox that that this particular MRA designation.
Correct. Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
And then on a point system there, we're working on our tax credit for the investment on the property at, what's the address on Meacham? 1104. Where we have the design, we have basically the builder for that investment. The only key component is that 9% tax credit that makes it where we keep it affordable. Instead of $2,000, $2,400 a month apartments, that we're looking to keep them around $1,000 or hopefully less. So we get points through this MRA. Now, you put together a committee of people that are stakeholders all along the corridor?
Yes.
Okay.
So our initial kickoff meeting was composed of stakeholders along the corridor. We had Tommy Dorgan there. We invited the title company. We didn't have any response. Jack Musso was present.
Jack's looking at doing the development off Snow Ridge or?
Going up Swiss Chalet. And this would allow us, if we ever did want to enter into any private-public partnership for infrastructure improvements along the corridor. It just opens up a lot of doors for improvements there. And so we did have that initial kickoff meeting, and then we moved to a public community meeting. And we had a business owner and a realtor turn out to that one evening, along with staff in Site Southwest. And then we took it to the Planning Commission, and they have recommended the designation plan in boundary for approval. They had a lot of the same similar questions as to what will this do for our village. And today we're looking for input from you all on potential project ideas, or the boundary, if you all are comfortable with what it encompasses, if you'd like to go further or reduce it. And Site Southwest will incorporate any recommendations today from you all, and we'll make those changes and bring it back during your December 12th council meeting.
So currently we have it from the Y to down Sutter to Meacham.
From the Y to the circle.
Upper Canyon. And then now this will take us all the way up behind Swiss Chalet.
Yes, up to the top of Swiss Chalet.
Okay.
So why was Tom Dorgan?
He's got a business right there.
Got it.
So
T-shirt shop that's in
T-shirt
that
shop,
building.
Rainbow, or is it Rainbow? Something he's got
I don't know
there.
what he calls it.
But we tried to reach out to people that had the time, the inclination that would come and give their input. Were there any concerns?
No, Arnold Duke had some great information, project ideas. Tom Dorgan asked us to find a vision for that corridor. And so
Find a vision. That's the start of it.
we're working on it.
Yeah.
And they had some really valuable input, though. We met for about an hour and a half, 2 hours that day.
Okay.
And you had invited all the businesses, right? And
Yes, and so for that community meeting, I sent two of my inspectors door to door that afternoon to let them know of the meeting at 5:30, and so they made it, they split up on both sides of the street.
and the homeowners association for Innsbruck, they were notified?
Yes, we mailed every single person within this boundary.
Okay, that's good.
And of
Looks like
course,
there's-
Carrie's been helping us publish.
Looks like there's a couple of more properties that need to be cleaned.
Well, and you don't notice them when you're driving by at
Yeah.
35 is the speed limit is when, and,
Thank you.
that need to be repaired. Yes, sir. Do you have something to say, Mr. Rush?
I've got a business in several lots on that street. I didn't know anything about this, but, you know, I'm interested in finding out. I would be amenable to low-income housing that I've got on the properties that I've got, some vacant lots and things, and I wouldn't mind building low-income housing if I could get tax credits and stuff. I just need to know about it, find out what's going on, so I had no clue.
Okay. Can we reach out to Mr. Rush and he has St. Bernard and then that other property that he's put up with the burnt and everything else over there forever next to Can't Stop Smoking?
Just for clarification, because we are bound by state statute for the mailings, we went off of the county records for property taxes. And then any that were returned back to us, we called their water billing phone number, got a valid address, and sent those certified return receipt. That's what the state statute required of us. And any of those that have been returned, we took with a door hanger, stapled the letter, and posted on site. So we have tried our hardest.
Okay, but if you'll reach out, get Mr. Rush involved. And because this is what we're trying to do is let everybody know that there are opportunities, because we do have people that own property that would like to find out, how do we get into workforce housing? And there's a differentiating between affordable and whatever, but that we're looking for that type of housing. The village is in the process, but we're looking for all the help we can to meet the needs. So we'll have more things coming. And then maybe we reach out and get him the information for our housing authority, or our housing board. We have other folks in the community that we've had on this housing board for 3 years and alternated a few on and off to help us get through. This goes all the way back to the property in Midtown, the Mashburn property, where before everybody was for it and then they weren't for it. So we got this committee together to try to stay in touch with education, what people want, what we're looking for to give them, and then how do we make it happen? Because that's the hard part, is building them and then keeping them affordable. We have people that come in, we start the process, and then shortly after that, they look at it, and then we hear about return on investment. Well, I want more money on this, so I'm gonna have to raise the rents to market rate. Well, that's not what the village is looking into. We hope that we encourage private investment, but we're moving forward with that. But that would be great if you're looking for some on your lots. Okay? Any other questions?
No.
Okay. So, do you have anybody have any recommendations?
I do like when Carlos mentioned about Texas Club, including that and looking at that lot right there, if we just came around there, because next to Innsbrook, there's some condos there, I believe.
Yep.
Right below where you're parking at are those houses.
Go on up.
And Mr. Mayor, members of the council, you're saying below where
Just-
we've marked here?
Yeah, right there where your cursor was.
Got it.
I couldn't remember if those were condos, because it seems like right next to Texas Club, there's a set of.
Well, that's Innsbrook.
There's that Innsbrook.
Still right there.
They're
Still
townhouses.
attached.
There's like 3 of them.
And then there's some other areas that are over there, and I know that Innsbrook, with funding that we received from whichever program, thank you, Parks and the road crews and everybody putting that through, we're starting new paving, water lines and everything at the Innsbrook in January, correct?
Mayor Crawford, members of the council, that's the co-op funding is what that would be.
Co-op funding, that's what that was.
NMDOT, yes.
Okay. So the idea is to let people know of the opportunities, and we try hard to communicate with everybody. We put out the Ruidoso Insider. We have the radio show for 2 hours every Monday. One day we'll have our own newspaper back, I hope. But we really, with all the different outreaches that there are, Facebook, and we have the website, we think that we would talk to everybody, but we still miss people. And so we just got to keep after it to let them know. Well, I'm excited that we're moving forward on it. That's going to put it right, neatly button up our application on our 9%. tax credit on that big housing development, so, or the apartment complex. So I'm excited that we got through that hurdle. So good job on doing that. Thank you for getting that done. Thank you, Carlos. Did Phyllis have anything to say? She just wanted to wave. That's a girl. Thank you. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Also, number 3, discussion and possible action on memorandum of understanding between the Village of Ruidoso and Eastern New Mexico University Ruidoso Branch Community College to deliver CDL certificate programs on Village of Ruidoso property, the Convention Center West parking lot. Pretty excited about this. We have 3 or 4?
We have 5.
5. We have 5. Awesome.
We have 5. Mayor and council, as we discussed last week, this is just the MOU for them to utilize our parking lot for some backing, parking training, and for storage when they're not in training. The class started last Monday, the 6th. It's a 5-week Class A CDL course. I talked to a couple of the employees today. Class is going great, instructor's great. 2 of them got their permits yesterday. 2 of them will be ready to get their permits this afternoon or tomorrow. And then the other one hopefully by the end of the week.
Sweet.
So then they'll be doing the pre-trip inspection, training, and all that good stuff.
You said there was 5. Did one come from outside?
No.
Village? Okay.
No, sir.
Because I know there's several that are wanting to do so. Thank you to ENMU.
Yes.
They've always been a great partner to serving what the community needs, whether it's wildland fire, EMS training. Soon that we're going to have building trades with framing, electrical, and plumbing over there. So again, thank you. And it looks like all the bonds passed on last week or whenever that was. So this is a good option to get some of our employees, because we have Adam back here can't get CDL drivers. Other people in the streets department can't get them. So I think this has come along real good.
Mayor Crawford, members of the council, just as you stated, and working with Ryan, ENMU's been a great partner, and we want to continue that on, so.
Absolutely. One day we'll have a destination college when we get dorm housing. We've been discussing that with the chancellor and some of those guys. It's exciting. So if they made it through what was the big fandango this weekend? Christmas Jubilee. That was the most I've ever seen, ever. So they were able to work the parking lot issues out, so that's good. So I guess if there's no other discussion, we'll take a motion.
Go ahead.
No,
Oh,
Rich.
sure,
Go ahead.
Rich. No, I was just gonna say, I had somebody who was considering, they hit me up a couple of days ago. They were considering, applying for a job with Parks and Rec. And I said, well, the other thing is, we need them in streets and Adam, and I mean, we just have a lot of them. And we're now getting ready to start this whole CDL thing. And he's going, oh, so it's a 3-year contract, correct?
4.
4? Okay. Well, I said, there's a contract that you have to sign so we can get our money back out of it. But, that definitely got him interested in applying, so.
It's a $4,000 roughly class.
Yes.
And so
42.50.
we ask if we're going to pay for it, that you give us 4 years, just like we do at the police department.
Yep.
Fire department, that we get you all certified, and then somebody puts out we got a hiring bonus of $5,000 that they don't leave, because that's happened.
Mayor and council, some of those individuals got some grant funding, so if they got
Yes.
some grant funding, we offset that.
Their period was shorter.
To a 3-year, but yes.
Awesome. Okay,
So, go ahead, I'm sorry.
I'll make a motion to approve the memorandum of understanding between the Village of Ruidoso and Eastern New Mexico University Ruidoso Branch Community College to deliver CDL certificate programs on Village of Ruidoso property, Convention Center West parking lot.
Second.
any final discussion? Roll call, please, ma'am.
Counselor Hooker,
Aye.
Counselor Jackson,
Aye.
Counselor Coughlin,
Aye.
Counselor Salas,
Aye.
Counselor Letterman.
Aye.
Counselor Eby.
Aye.
Mayor, we didn't take action on item 2.
There
I
was.
know I made a recommendation, but do we need that so that way it's approved there? And going back talking about the Texas Club, we didn't notify them like the other properties. So I don't know if we need to take action on that.
The way I read it, there's no action.
There wasn't any action on number 2.
It's just possible, it said presentation, discussion, and possible action, but I think there was direction to staff that they understood.
Samantha?
Samla? Well, the recommendation that Mayor Pro Tem put up,
Carlos should incorporate that. That's why he was marking on his map.
But I'm going off the agenda item that it reads possible action. So I was saying we take action so it gets it moving, and we could always add that section in there because Texas Club wasn't notified or those residents weren't notified, like how you say state statute would have to go on that.
But then down under the recommendation, it just says to discuss and provide recommendations.
Right.
So I don't think we really need action on it.
Right, so we put discussion or presentation, discussion, possible action in case there were any additional items, I believe, that were going to be recommended, but I don't think there were.
yeah, because
I mean, I'm good with that. I just wanted to be sure since we have possible action, just
So
entertain
possible,
that
You
discussion.
don't have to, right?
Okay.
Thank you, Mayor.
staff's directed, and then he'll get on it.
And,
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
members of the council, I believe Texas Club and all the residents in that area were notified along with the other properties because we have been proposing to include that within the boundaries.
There you go.
So I believe they have gotten the previous notification at least.
Okay, all right, thank you very much. Item
Absolutely.
number 4, come on down, Stephanie Long, discussion and possible action on Resolution 2023-38, a resolution accepting donated items of real property for the Wingfield Heritage House Museum, and all the people said, hurry up. We're getting closer by the day, I know.
I'll try to be fast for cake.
No, you're fine. I was just saying not hurry up. It's just we're ready to get the thing open.
So this item is originally about taking in part of the Wingfield collection that has already kind of gone through acceptance with the council already. We have this large collection from the Wingfield family and the families that were associated with the house. About 250 items came through and got approved over the summer, I believe. And so I was going through what was left of the collection that hadn't been approved by council and trying to inventory that and get that approved as well. So the original items were what we had proposed and had gone through our committee was all of the photography collection that came in with those items, and then some of the document collection as well. And then there'll be one more round of this with the last of it that I haven't had a chance to inventory yet. So the action that comes with this would be to approve the acceptance of those items. But I think Mayor Crawford wanted to talk a little bit about collections in general with the museum as well. So I'm here to do that. We did, like I said, we did get that first collection in that's actually physically in the building. So we actually have physical collections in the building. I've been working on a collections policy that should come through. It's basically done. I just had to add the mission statement into it. That sets the criteria for the objects that we'll be taking into the collection. We're trying to build a nice local history collection that covers, obviously not just the Wingfield family, but the community as a whole. So the criteria in general is that it be related to our mission. So we're not taking objects from, somebody moved here from Ohio and wants to donate their family stuff, or, that should go back to Ohio, not to us.
Sure.
That it's in stable condition, that we can reasonably care for it. It's not hazardous. We're not gonna be collecting live grenades or anything like that. We try not to keep a lot of duplicates of things. We have a limited amount of space, so those are the sorts of criteria that we'd be looking at as things come in. So we do have a small storage area at the museum, upstairs, in a couple of the rooms there. And so that's where the Wingfield stuff has come in, and we are working on a new storage area to come with the next round of renovations at the Horton complex. So at this point, I'm interested in seeing what's out there in the community. I know you've had several of you have had people come and ask about the museum and if they can donate their collections. So I would encourage them to reach out to me. We did put up a webpage on the main village website. Now there's a Wingfield Heritage House under Community Services, and that has my contact information on it and kind of some of the things that we're looking for. And so I'd like to talk with people about what they have, see if it's something we can accommodate now. We can't take in smaller collections. And then if it's too large for the current space, and we're looking at next spring and summer for our new off-site storage space, at least collecting that information so that we can expect to then bring in those collections as well. I am anxious to get going on our exhibits. So, I was cracking open the exhibit cases this week and kind of thinking, oh yeah, we can do this. So I would like to see, it would be very helpful for me to see what collections are out there. If there's some whiz-bang blockbuster item, to make sure that we leave space for that and highlight it appropriately. I do anticipate that we'll have more collections than what we have on display at any one time. The goal is to rotate out objects and exhibits over time to cover lots of different aspects of our history. I do encourage people to check out. It's just a single web page, one page on the website that we'll just keep updating with whatever the latest news is for what's going on. And, obviously once we get closer to opening, we'll have a more robust site with hours and that kind of stuff. I am looking at hopefully spring 2024 getting open to the public, probably a combination of some permanent exhibits as well as some temporary ones we can rotate out as we're building the collection. So, any questions?
Anybody have any comments?
Well, I think this donor will be happy to get some of these items out of their garage.
Yeah, I think I've heard that from several people.
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution 2023-38, a resolution accepting donated items of real property to the Wingfield Heritage House Museum.
Second.
Any final discussion? None? Roll call, please, ma'am.
Counselor Hooker?
Aye.
Counselor Jackson?
Aye.
Counselor Coughlin?
Aye.
Counselor Salas?
Aye.
Counselor Letterman?
Aye.
Counselor Eby?
Aye.
Awesome. All right, big boy, it's your turn.
Thanks,
Discussion and possible action on Village of Ruidoso snow and ice removal plan. Good job, Stephanie. We're all excited.
Thank you.
I got to go through it yesterday after I was on the radio.
Oh, good.
Man, I went through it a long time ago. It is, you can't tell it's an old building. I mean,
Yeah.
it's really nice in there.
So glad you could join us, Mr. Eric Queller.
Thanks.
Yeah, Eric
be here.
has a emergency manager conference going on that we started at 1 o'clock. That's why I was late. He got to introduce me, and we have over 200 people there, so it's doubled in size in the last year.
Wow.
Yeah, it really has.
So, anyway,
A lot of great folks there.
go ahead, gentlemen.
Okay, Mayor, Council.
What's all the traffic over here on the,
Yeah, it's about the third or fourth vehicle I've seen go
what's
by.
going on?
The air conditioner guys, I believe.
That it is?
That's what
It's
I'm
too cold to
thinking.
walk the dog, so they're driving the dog. Yeah.
Mayor, Council, what you have in front of you is the 2023-2024 snow and ice removal plan. Basically, this is a working document we'll update each year and incorporate any changes that need to be made or recommendations that you guys would like to see. Eric made us a little PowerPoint. Eric, if you want to go through the PowerPoint.
So just an overview of the plan. So we do have our operations, our priority routes, our plowing processes, our responsibilities for departments, as well as external agencies and the equipment and materials. And so moving forward,
Do you like my graphic?
Oh, wow.
Stop before it hits.
That college paid off for you there. That's awesome.
Yeah, it really did. That
Our video
Microsoft
game's a great
Office.
one for you.
The Microsoft Office class that cost a lot did pay off for my tuition. Anyway, so priority routes, will go into that. We do have it broken down into 3 priority routes, and Adam will go more in depth on those.
Okay, so the main priority routes are gonna be Meacham and Sudderth, the main thoroughfares. And then, we will do the, school bus routes. Be number 2, and then we'll start on the outer arterial routes. And along, Counselor Salas brought up a good point, this last week, about some other roads being plowed, but when we're doing the main routes and the secondary routes, we're also kind of hitting the third routes in kind of in sequence as we're turning, we're not just going to the end of the road, turn around and come back.
Sure.
You go around, yes.
So every road will be hit.
And plus, you'll be working in unity with Parks and Rec.
Yes. Parks and Rec will, they will be doing all the parking lots and like their events. Wingfield will be taking care of Wingfield and stuff like that.
And the sidewalks on Sudderth and Midtown?
Yes. I will call out, Matt in the mornings, just depending on what kind of storm we have. So as soon as I'm out, I will be calling Matt also.
And that's listed later on in the notification procedures. We did amend that when we met with our snow and ice stakeholders. And so we did adjust that notification tree for calling out Public Works Office, calling out Parks and Rec. The officers are always patrolling the streets, so they'll let us know what's happening. My office with weather reports and whatnot. And so we have our first priority, which are listed in blue, and then the second priority, which are listed in green, and then the third priority, which is mostly parking lots and such, where we just need to get those plowed. And so next, we'll move on to the plowing process.
Oh, excuse me, Mr. Mayor, I had a question on Warrior Drive.
Yes.
I'm assuming that's east and west Warrior Drive, and also the cut through to the middle school as well, off Warrior or not?
Usually we don't get the cut through to the middle school. That's done by the schools, but we will do, Warrior Drive east and west, yes.
Thank you.
And the school also helps out with, West Warrior Drive also, but just depends on who gets there first.
So the first, we do have 3 areas of the village that we have to coordinate a little bit more closely when we plow the snow. We can't just throw it in the ditch. And so the first one is from Hickory to Sudderth Drive. From the circle and Upper Canyon, all snow will be plowed to the center of the road. And then moving down to Hickory to Carrizo Canyon Road, all of the snow will be plowed to the south side of the road. And then from Carrizo Canyon to Highway 70, eastbound lanes will be plowed to the center of road as well. And so I know that we'll have some heavy equipment for those larger event snowstorms that will come and remove that snow out of the lanes of travel.
And this one, we're gonna talk about the snow blower?
Yes, so I've contacted a place out of Colorado and Utah that actually have snow blowers on the ground. I'm waiting for a definite price through HGAC, and hopefully we can.
Who are those people?
I can't remember.
Is it a state agency or what?
It's, Mayor Crawford, members of the council, it's another price agreement. It's the Houston-Galveston area price agreement that we also use. Right, New Mexico's part of that.
So what's taking them so long? I mean, I know you've been working on this for about 2 months.
We gave them the model and everything of our new.
Truck?
Yeah, our new, loader, so they're making sure that everything is gonna work in connection with it.
Okay.
So.
Well, I might see if we can make some more phone calls and get that done, because that would be great.
Yes.
And it's a push or pull?
It's a push. It actually, you take the bucket off the loader, the hook connect, and then you hook onto it and take off.
And then it blows it right in the back of the dump truck?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay. And Hickory was where we just had the fire. Good job, fire department, firefighter you. Thank you. And everybody was saved except for one of the puppies, so. Okay, go ahead.
All right, moving forward, responsibilities. We have that broken down again into the notification process. The plan does go more into what department is focused on what. But for the interim right now, just having that notification branch of my office giving monitored forecasts, having RPD out on a constant state of alert, looking at road conditions, and then notifying dispatch to notify the streets manager, public works director, and the village manager by phone. And then it goes forward down. And so with that, the 2 steps that were added is during step 2, Public Works Director will also be notified now via cell phone. And then step 0 is my office is always giving weather alerts to the key stakeholders. We did get to test run this past weekend, when we got 2.8 inches of snow. It was a nice introduction into the season. Nothing overburdened us, but it did show us how we can put this plan into action and move forward with snow and ice removal operations. And so, let's see what's next. Equipment. So I know Adam just talked about the snow blower, but we do have a list here with the dump trucks with plows and salters, with the Duramax, and this is just all village-wide equipment. Now, this does fluctuate each season as well as an ongoing basis. We could have snow equipment arrive. I know my pickup truck will have a snow plow attached to it, as well as the assistant fire chief. I know forestry also has some equipment on their vehicles, and so those do get reflected in there on a constant basis, and so it does always change. Anything else, Adam, with that? No?
I think that's it. Forestry will be responsible for like Village Hall here, since they're here at Village Hall. And then if, by some chance they're out and about or whatever, we'll give them some spots to plow also.
And so lastly, I just want to touch on just safety for snow season when you're traveling. The first thing is, if you can delay your travel, do delay your travel on those big winter storm events. Go ahead and let your time fluctuate. Give yourself more time. If you can't delay your travel or not travel at all, delay it, but also give yourself more time to go from A to B. The other thing that I really like to push out during the winter weather seasons is check nmroads.com. That's through the Department of Transportation. And so you can see which roads are icy, how it is impacting travel, and that's all done through the state agency. Slow down and increase your following distance when you're on the road. Avoid using cruise control, and of course having an emergency stock of supplies in your trunk. And then lastly, we saw it this weekend, but when our crews are out plowing and de-icing and all of that, don't crowd the plow. Use appropriate distance amongst public safety personnel and our public works personnel. They are out there working, and they definitely want to go home that evening. So with that, I guess we stand for any questions.
And then you've got some overnight accommodations that'll be at the fire department,
Yes.
Station 1. We have salt, cinder, and then the low temp stuff too.
Yes, we have, as far as salt, we have almost 1,000 yards on hand right now. The state actually brought us, the Gusto right at the beginning. We do have the ice slicer also, so we're stocked up, we're ready to go.
Ice slicer, that's the low temp?
Low temp.
Okay.
You mentioned the nmroads.com. They only just post for state highways and interstate, okay.
But they also do it by region, but also
Right.
Sudreth and Meacham are state-owned
I
highways.
mean, I have that app, and the only thing I find on there when we were going to the ski area, but I get calls that, why don't we do Cedar Creek? And I say, call your county representative and let them go deal with that.
Is there anybody, though, you could, when we're putting out with PIO on snow conditions, road conditions, that we can talk about Apache Summit and, Why can't I think of that?
Swiss
Swiss Chalet Hill?
Angus?
You know, just to get people, that's one big question that they're always asking is, because it may be snowing on Patch Summit and not doing anything here.
Right.
And I think one of the things, Eric and I have talked about, I picked him up for the little snow event we had, just, so we can kind of get some coordination, is, during a snow event, he'll have to look at the Apache Summit, but, I'll be out and about. I can give him, I'll give him updates on subdivisions or roads that have been cleared, so we can kind of mark them off the list and give you guys updates also.
And Apache Summit has a camera. So just glance at that.
And do we have a communications plan to make sure we're getting out consistent message? Because I know the one year we had two different departments, one saying stay off the roads and another one saying, hey, come see us. And it's like,
Yeah.
whoa, wait a minute, what's going on?
Never that.
He will, as far as the critical information, like on-time information, it will come from like my staff, myself and Josh, and it will be, pushed out to like Ron, and then through Eric and go to Kerry. So there's not a whole bunch of people, somebody might say something, but as far as the, our staff, that's what we're seeing here.
Right. Yeah, it was just, like I said, different departments were issuing their own separate messages out, and it was conflicting, and it's like.
Yeah, it's snowing, come on, and.
Yeah, stay off the roads, it's really slick and a lot of snow, and hey, come on, see us today, and it's like, whoa, wait a minute. So.
Okay, any other questions?
I got a question on I was just curious, what do y'all do as far as the protocol, like say if you come upon an abandoned vehicle that really is in the way, or you come upon a motorist that is spinning their tires and they can't get anywhere? Because I know that we can't take on too much liability, and just say you got a Texan out there standing by their car with a set of change in their hands, they have no idea what to do with them.
My main thing, when I come up on somebody that's either stuck or, trying to put chains on or something like that, is I usually try to plow and salt around them is the best I can so they can get traction. I try not to stop, unless it's an accident or, they're, across lanes in traffic or something like that to help out. If they are across lanes, we'll stop and try to get them out of the road and get them to safety, whatever. But if somebody's just stuck there, we try to plow around them and get them to where they can at least back up and get off the road.
Okay, so we'll entertain a motion.
To approve the Village of Ruidoso snow and ice removal plan.
Second.
No discussion? Roll call, please, ma'am.
Counselor Hooker,
Aye.
Counselor Jackson,
Aye.
Counselor Coughlin,
Aye.
Counselor Salas,
Aye.
Counselor Letterman.
Aye.
Counselor Eby.
Aye.
Okay, so we'll take a break, and then we'll come back in and go into closed session.
What about public comments
We already did, there was no public comment.
from elected officials?
Reports from.
Oh, crap, okay. Well, I was gonna give you your plaque and then let you do the talking, but you go ahead.
Well, if you want to do it that way.
No, you go ahead.
No.
Okay, so we have comments from elected officials. So we would like, Joe, would you like to go first and would you like to kick Coughlin in the teeth one more time?
One more time there, yeah.
Come on, bring it on.
Well, first of all, I want to thank all the veterans that, if there's anybody here, I want to thank you and all of those out that have served the country, because it was a great ceremony again at the community center honoring the veterans. And those who did show up had an opportunity to have some great menudo or chili, homemade. I do want to thank Councilor Coughlin. It's been a pleasure working with him. And I did hear and I'm glad you did have him on. I thought that was very appropriate that he was on the radio with you, Mayor, Monday, yesterday. But I do find it that when you asked him about a counselor that he liked working with, that he didn't say you.
I know, he definitely didn't
no.
say me.
He worked with you.
He's
as
not a counselor.
Counselor for 4 years.
Yeah, I was a counselor twice.
Yeah, but not when I was on. Oh, yeah, you were.
We were all holding our breath.
But we will miss him, and he's going to Florida. That's a different country there. I lived there for 3.5 years, and he's up north. I was over by Lake Okeechobee. But
Buckhead Ridge, yeah.
he'll enjoy his time, and definitely he did leave an impression upon Ruidoso during his time here, and the service that he did perform and commit in this community. So appreciate you there, Councilor Coughlin. soon be, well, you're always a counselor, right? So, but we, I just want you to enjoy your stay there in California and soak it up. And take those road trips that you said you couldn't do before.
Oh, yeah. Counselor,
Well, I have to say ditto.
that he left an impression? More like a stain.
Wait, what did she call me?
No, I enjoyed working with you, and your detail, your inept detail.
Inept is correct.
And then, and we are going to miss you very much. But I would also like to say that the Ruidoso Warrior volleyball team is going to state.
All right.
Oh, good.
And so we're leaving tomorrow. And Olivia Hillman, who is Officer Hillman, she's on the team, and Harley Widener, Greg's cousin.
Greg Widener.
And Madison Lutterman.
Ah.
And so, and 11 really great ladies. And so
Awesome.
we're taking off tomorrow.
Excellent.
Who do they play first?
Tucumcari.
Tucumcari.
Does Olivia still sing a lot?
Pardon me?
Does she still sing a lot, Olivia?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
big singing.
She used to sing all the time.
but she also hits a good ball.
Good for her.
That's good.
Counselor Salas?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. A few announcements I'd like to make. I mimic what Councilor Eby said, thank you veterans, all of you, Councilor Jackson, Councilor Hooker, for your service. And I'm sorry I missed the event at the senior center, the community center. Gotta get used to saying that. But I'd also like to announce that today you could buy your tree permit from the U.S. Forest Service office, there, the Smoky Bear office, $10. And you cut anywhere in the National Forest, Lincoln, you could specify Sacramento or Guadalupe. And I did learn that, yeah, you gotta be 100 feet away from a paved road. Shipping kind of scolded me because we're on a dirt road and we could have got a really nice tree last year that was about maybe 10 feet from the road. She don't think they'll be there this year. Anyway, also, the Christmas Jubilee was very, very well attended on Saturday, so that's why I went Friday afternoon and did our walking and talking, and it was a good event from what I hear, and people enjoyed themselves. Also, thank you for Matthew on the Christmas in the Park update, and everybody's excited about that coming up, as well as the light parade. The thing about it happening right after, or the 30th, the Thursday, how that came about was because that was the National Tree Lighting Day as well. So that's where I remember way back when is why they always scheduled the Thursday after Thanksgiving. The other thing is, since the mayor will be absent tomorrow, he asked me to sit in with him with meeting with our state legislatures, representatives and senator, to go over our capital outlay priorities for the upcoming legislation session. So, of course, as the mayor's hit it right on, we've been on workforce housing for well over 10 years now. And we're gonna continue to fight for that and get Santa Fe to get us on the same rules and playing field as they do the northern or bigger cities, I should say. And it's all about that tax credit. That begins tomorrow at 10 o'clock over at ENMU. So it is open to the public. Encourage everybody to come to that. And as far as Tim, I was clapping he's leaving already. And that's when the mayor told me, heck yeah, that's about time. He's been lying to me all this summer and it's like there. But I do have to ask your forgiveness, Tim, because when you first got up on the council, we were having the New Mexico Municipal League District meeting in Cloudcroft.
Yes.
And, you know, they pass around those clipboards to sign up for committees. Well, I put your name on there on one of the committees, and you didn't even know about it. I just remember being in the back office where you said, yeah, I got this packet to go to this meeting. And so I got a kick out of it both times. But yeah, Tim, we will miss you. You're a great guy, and thank you. A great asset to the community, and you did, because I really applaud you on getting that Boys and Girls Club started up and moving, and yeah, I was always in support of you on that.
Thank you.
Awesome, thank you. Councilor Hooker?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Congratulations, I guess, or condolences to you, as you're going to now be the president of the Municipal League for 2 years.
2 years, yes.
Because the person that was in front of him didn't get reelected in an election. I was able to go be a part of Team Tourism's new Discovery Knowledge Series. They invited Carolyn Scott to come and do an interactive workshop about how restaurants can address special needs within their restaurants and those people that need different dietary things. She's from California, and she's a travel writer and influencer who also hosts a TV show called The Healthy Voyager. The feedback from those in attendance, because there were restaurateurs there, was very positive, and I think the Discovery Knowledge Series will be a great way to continue to bring knowledge and tools to our local business. She made food, and if I hadn't known it wasn't what it was, I wouldn't have known.
Yeah, vegetarian
Yep,
and,
yep, yep.
yeah,
It was
gluten-free, all
It
that.
was very good. I did attend the veterans thing. It's an honor for me to be a veteran and continue serving. Tim, good luck. You know, it's like my dad used to say, if I didn't like you, I wouldn't pick on you.
Oh, yeah.
I think here you can tell everybody.
You love me a lot.
Yes, exactly. But good luck in Florida, and thank you for your service to the village.
Thank you.
Councilor Jackson?
Ditto to everything that's been said. Just a shout out to Amber and Anthony for their work with the musicians, and also the Ruidoso Fire Department for their salute during the Veterans Day appreciation. Tim, it seems like this is more of a roast than a. I have to say, I don't think I've ever met anyone in my travels that has an attention to detail and that you do, and it makes me feel inadequate, because I can read through the same thing you do, and I don't see any of that, but then I speed read. And you do, you've been a real asset in terms of showing us where we need to improve, what's been overlooked or what's not been said, and that's going to be a void that's going to be difficult to fill. And so I thank you for all of that work, Tim.
Well, I did hold back on a couple of things that came before us today that I saw some misspellings. It's like, no, I'm not going to go there.
I wondered if you're going to bring those up.
Yeah, well, it's like, nope, not going to go there.
Okay,
So,
Councilor.
well, I typed up my comments to keep it to 15 minutes. And I really expected more of a roast from you guys, so you're going to be
Well,
sorry.
you get it almost every time
Oh, I
we're
know.
here.
But you guys are going to be really sorry that you didn't take advantage of it when you had a chance. So, well, the time has finally come for me to retire and join my wife in Florida. I know some of you wonder what took so long, even if it would even happen. Some might be sad to see me leave, but I know there will be others that will celebrate.
We're going to a cake here in just about 5 minutes.
I have truly enjoyed my nearly 10 years on this council. It's been an honor to serve the community. My involvement started by volunteering with the Keep Ruidoso Beautiful cleanups. My first winter was helping out at Christmas in the Park when it snowed so much that the sleigh rides, carolers, and even Santa had a hard time making it out. That became an annual tradition for me, helping for many years. During the freeze, I helped out with the fire department, trudging through the snow to locate and turn off meters when there were leaks. The second day I arrived to help, Chief Vincent said, no more volunteers except Coughlin. You would have thought that I would have learned, but I continued for several more days, freezing my toes as we worked to find the water meters under the snow. It wasn't until after this that I finally got some snow boots. I served on the Parks and Rec Commission and as the alternate municipal judge before being elected to the village council. I went to Mali to become a certified municipal official. Boy, was there a lot to learn about this job. As a council, we worked together to address the many issues that appeared before us. Never backing down from a challenge, we were able to reduce the audit problems that had hounded the village for years before. We kept getting beat down in our attempt to deal with the workforce housing need. We persevered and finally were able to open Meacham Meadows, the first step in addressing the housing issues to our workforce. We continue to work on more opportunities, even though they sometimes seem like they will never happen, kind of like me leaving.
the weapon on a wagon wheel, knowing to.
We came together navigating the many challenges that seemed to change daily during the pandemic. We worked to keep Ruidoso residents and visitors safe, even though far too many left us far too early. We worked to support and help the businesses to adapt to the challenges. We survived and succeeded. Other towns in New Mexico look to us as an example. Our GRT and lodgers tax continue to grow during this difficult time. We wrote a plan to reopen the village, and the state adopted some of our plan. For the next person to fill my seat, I have a few words of advice. Start attending the council meetings now. Don't try to be elected without having sat through meetings that will come before the election. You will need to hit the ground running. Village business waits for no one. Read every single word on every single page that is provided in your council packet. Don't come with your own agenda or to get even with something you don't like. Listen, and I do mean listen, to everyone. Those who you agree with and those you may not agree with. There is much to be learned when you can sit down and have a civil dialogue with those who have a different set of values and beliefs. This is not a political office. Leave your politics at home. I've always said that I'm not a politician. I am an elected official. I was elected to serve everyone, not just a few. Keep a balance between our lifeblood of tourism and the needs of the residents. Keep a balance between our senior community, our adults, and our children. They are all important to the village in their own special way. To this council, I hope the voters can see to re-elect those of you who will be up for election in March. This council is made up of individuals with a wide variety of history, experience, and knowledge. This council uses that diverse makeup to make well-thought-out decisions that are placed before us. Continue to be civil towards the public and each other. We see too often other bodies that aren't and can't get the business of the people taken care of. Continue to think about the future. Continue to think about unintended consequences. Continue to ask the questions even if you think you know the answer. Continue to support the village employees. They are hardworking people that have the welfare of our community in their hearts. As that once shy, fat kid, now some might say I'm still that shy, fat person, who couldn't walk down the halls of his school and look people in the face, I thank you. Thank you for all the opportunities this village has provided me and my family. I sometimes have to pinch myself to see if it's all real. I will miss each and every one of you. I will miss all the loving teasing that I've received and given. I will think of all of you as I sit on the beach, sipping a frozen drink, slathering on sunscreen at the beach. I will think of you when I'm on that beach in the middle of winter while you are digging out of the snow. Oh yeah, I will think of each and every one of you. Now, I also have some stuff for everybody. I brought gifts. And sorry, not for the directors, I can't make fun of you guys. So, we will start with Counselor Solis.
Yes.
Okay, Counselor Solis, for you, you seem to know everything about water in the village, so you get Rifle Solis, Ruidoso Waterman.
Thank you.
For my buddy at the end, we go back and forth between senior counselor and most senior counselor. Well, I'm gone, dude, so now it's gonna be you're the most senior counselor. So what I have for you is some cups. You can use these to speak a little louder. Or if you get really senior, you can do it this way.
That's a good point.
For Miss Susan. Oh, boy. This is probably one of the nicest gifts out of everybody's.
Hand warmer?
Naturally.
Hand warmers. She sits here freezing constantly, brings in her big old giant blanket.
Electric, yeah.
So, for, who do we have left? Counselor Hooker, Mr. H as the kids refer to him. I don't know why it's Mr. H and not Mr. Hooker, but there might be things. So, thank you for your years and years and years in law enforcement, and I know being on the council, there's things you miss about law enforcement. So, for you, a pack of donuts.
Oh, nice. Thanks, man. Perfect.
And they're powdered, too.
Yeah, the best.
And I would have gotten chocolate, but they wouldn't have lasted. So for Counselor Jackson, you already mentioned kind of about it. So for you, you get the certificate of responsibility that acknowledges that Gary Jackson is hereby bestowed the responsibility to read all documents for correct grammar and spelling, especially the fine print. And there is a lot of little fine print on here. and I signed it as Tim Coughlin, esteemed counselor.
That's perfect.
And least and last is our mayor,
Yes.
the man who gives it and takes it, and I appreciate every bit of it. The man who was supposed to marry us until we went and eloped.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, and but I appreciate the sentiment.
You bet. That'd have been a great affair.
The man, well, it wasn't going to be an affair, but
I mean,
Well, one to remember anyway.
yeah.
the man who constantly is telling me I talk too much, and I was going to get you a mirror.
Ah,
But instead, I got you something that I want this to be left right there in front of you at every council meeting.
uh-huh,
Not only just duct tape,
uh-huh.
but this is
T-Rex.
T-Rex, ferociously strong, so it will stick across there when you get saying too much. So I appreciate all of you guys. It has been fun. I really expected to really get roasted today, and I appreciate it because, like somebody said, you only tease the ones you love. And so I'm gonna miss all you guys, and that's it.
Okay, well, we appreciate it. All right, now we'll take a break, and while we're out there, we'll give you your, well, I guess we give it on there because we got people that are watching. But we did, pitch in, ask the counselors, and we got like $2.98, so this is the best we could do. But we giving you, or honoring you with the Distinguished Service Award. So I know we might have something that maybe not up to snuff on here, but this is presented
Do I have to read it?
Counselor Timothy Coughlin, okay, in appreciation of over 8 years.
Well, it's over 8.
Okay, over 8 years of service to the Village of Ruidoso, March 2014 to November 2023. So that's over 8 years.
Yeah.
So we appreciate everything you've done. You have left a big mark on the community. I can't tell you how many young people I run into. I'm being honest with you.
Yeah, no.
I've been
You said a
asked to
mark, I'm
be
thinking of a
nice
skid
to
mark,
you, yeah. That so many young people, that when you got here, that are now older, young adults, that said that the Boys and Girls Club,
Andrew is number 5.
yeah, that's Chief Chavez's son,
Yep.
that made a big difference to them. And to see how where they could go in life, the positive influence that you helped foster. One of your long-term that's now one of ours.
On Monday.
On Monday, she'll be our. So you fostered a good attitude, a lot of can-do attitude, and giving kids a lot of new light that, beforehand they wouldn't have had. So that's a big mark that you've left on this community, you and your wife. So we wish you well while you're in Florida. While we're up here in the cool pines, he'll be sweating his you-know-what's off. And I ain't talking about pineapples.
Yeah.
And the mosquitoes and the no-see-ums.
Yeah, those
Yeah, you're gonna be eaten alive, so I don't wanna see your fat chunky butt back here with all these little red dots on here saying, I wanna come back.
No.
Okay, you're not ever coming back.
Well, I'll come back
So I
and
hope
visit.
that you'll not wear your pineapple shirts as often as you did here.
I only wore it once until somebody told me what it meant. It's still in the closet. I got to get rid of it.
Well, with pineapple shirts, pineapple flip-flops and everything,
And
so.
some of those pineapples were upside down.
Yep. So I don't know, it's an urban legend, but anyway, I know you're a detailed person. I'm surprised that one got by you. But here's to a great future for you. Hopefully you stay in touch. We're wondering who's going to take the helm of Ruidoso discussions and questions.
Somebody.
We don't know yet.
Somebody.
Somebody?
No, not her.
Okay.
Not her.
Anyway, I know that you got the fastest response of anybody I've ever heard of, seen of on Facebook. Somebody asks a question, within a minute, he's on there, 2 minutes on there. So usually wrong with everything except for his favorite plumber, we all know is Toby.
Oh, yeah.
And so, but again, you've done so much for the community, and so we're going to be nice to you today. We did get you some cake with a loving message on it that we all pondered that says, bye already. Because he was going to leave a long time ago, and then because building contractors and everything in Florida are the same that they are the world over. So anyway, here's a little plaque to remember Spy. Hopefully you do put it on your wall.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
All right, well, here's to you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, everybody's welcome to join us for cake out in the foyer, and we'll have some drinks, and then we'll stay out there a few minutes, and then maybe after 10 minutes or so, the council will come back in and do a motion.
Motion to go to,
Mhm. And then we'll do a motion.
Will the insurance presentation be at the next meeting?
yes.
I guess,
Okay,
yes.
just
She
checking.
got stuck at the county commission meeting.
And then we'll do the same thing for
Do
the
motion
RMA.
For closed session? Oh, when we come back in?
Yeah, when we come back in, we're just gonna take a break.
Thank you.
She's still here? Great wood, too.